Leave us.
No, you stay here. I'm in charge.
Do you feel in charge?
I've paid you a small fortune.
This gives you power over me?
Only from T.P.O.T Media. Open your minds. Oh, damn, my mic was muted, y'all. My bad. I'm up here talking. Peace, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought Series, right here on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but we knew that already. That's why we're all here. Tonight, special show tonight, the one and only Edward Anderson will be in the house. Folks, yeah, and he's coming through for the Edward Anderson Challenge, and it's gonna be a good one, folks. It's gonna be a good one, because y'all know how Hurricane Edward gets. So fasten your seatbelts and brace yourself for the hurricane. Yeah, but before we get started, y'all know I always start the show with thanking you good folks, for everything that you do, because you don't have to do it, You don't have to do it. You don't have to watch these damn streams. You don't have to show up to these damn debates and shows. You don't have to like, share, or subscribe, but you good folks, you choose to do so. You choose to do it, and I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm humbled, I'm honored that you feel the need to be here. You can be any damn where, but you decided to be here. And like every night, man, I want y'all to know, man, that I appreciate y'all. I don't take you lightly. I never have, and I never will. So I thank you. All right. All right. So let's get at it. Brother Edward is here. So let me bring him up. Brother Edward.
Yeah, what's up? How are you doing?
What's good with it, man? The way we do these things, the way we do these quote unquote challenges, if you will, is that you just get up here, man, and lay down whatever you want to lay down. And anybody who want to come up here and challenge against it, if you're willing to take the challenge, it's on. So whatever you
I sent an email wanting to do a power of hour, but like I said, as far as my the challenge thing, I have no problem doing that. Here's the thing. First things first, my channel in this current iteration is more known for the Gynocracy than anything. So I actually have a couple of things that if we're going to do the debate format that we want to talk about, because there was a couple of things I could have did. We could talk about like how black men need to do the quality of life and how there's no one size fits all solution. And I think that's where we kind of run into a lot of different issues. So let me do this. I'm going to lay out an initial premise really quick. Then we'll get into kind of the questions that go into that. That way I can kind of do both at the same time.
You got it.
Here's the thing.
On you.
Here and I talk about this on the channel, on my channel a little bit, but this is definitely where the direction's going. So first things first. Number one, in the whether you're in the United States of America, technically, or abroad, there is no one size fits all solution for black men. There is no, if you just hop the fence, everything's going to be great. There is no, if you just have enough game, everything's going to be great. No matter what path you take, there is always going to be obstacles and always be landmines that you step on. And the problem is too many black men are looking for like a path to take that's, yes, I understand it's going to have least resistance, but at the same time, they want to be able to, I don't want to say take a break, but they want to be at peace. And see, the problem is that's not how the world really works. There is no way if you do this, everything's going to be great. And I think a lot of times what we're doing is we're arguing these game versus no game, going overseas versus staying domestic. You know, money matters or doesn't matter. You should pay 100%. It doesn't. You should wait till you're older or not. It doesn't matter. There's landmines everywhere. And the thing that I try to talk about more than anything is really laying out all the cards so people can pick up the cards that they want to use to basically work with and plot out their life. So a lot of times it sounds like I'm being long-winded, but all this stuff stems from one thing. And I talk about, it's called the quality of life, and I call it passion, profits, purpose. So let's go over what the quality of life is. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm setting the table to set the ground rules so people can understand where I'm coming from. Number one, well, there is no like one is not any more important than the other. They just are. So you have health, you have money, you have time freedom, and you have relationships. So health is obvious, your vitality, you know, people can talk about that, like physical fitness, performance, hormonal balance, all that stuff. Being healthy is obviously better than not being healthy, and it affects a lot more than how you look, even though that's tended to how we pay attention to it. It affects your performance, all of that. And this is not to say that people are going to be perfectly healthy. I'm not vegan. I eat meat. There's people that are better than me, people that are worse than me. You know, it is what it is. Second thing you have is money. We already understand that. You know, more money you make, more problems. Not really. You know, so, but the other thing is relationships. This is more the game shit. But relationships is not just how you relate to women. It's also how you relate to other men. It's how you relate to your family. It's the quality of those relationships that actually, you know, creates, you know, a happy individual. This is how humans are social creatures. And the last thing, which is not last, it's probably the last thing that black men think about or black people think about, is time freedom. Just because you make a lot of money, if you don't have time, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but that's usually the missing component that a lot of people are missing, is creating your economics to be in certain way to where you can be free to do what you want. And now in the society we're in now, having your own opinion, there's a tax on that. If you have an opinion outside of what people think, and this is true even amongst in the manosphere or even amongst in the black community, you can be controlled and you can be punished. So everything that I say pretty much stems from that. As far as the passion, profits, purpose thing, that's a slogan I came up with. You know, it's kind of a work-life balance thing. Find something that you're passionate about, that you like to do, something that gives you purpose, that feeds your soul. So like, you know, like what we do with helping other black men, giving our opinions on that, that's something I feel like has a purpose to it. And I would do that for free, and I pretty much do that for free. And then obviously you need something that makes you money. If you can usually get 2 of the 3, you're good. If you can get all 3, you're golden. You should always work to get all 3. So with that being said, the Gynocracy is not just something that is black men versus black women. One of the things that I've learned in the manosphere is that black men are just as caught up in the Gynocracy as black women. And it's not just in the black community. You see it in other communities as well. Like even the United States is more converting into more of a matriarchy than patriarchy. It only like the top 10% are really allowed to be patriarchal in all aspects. Other than that, everybody else is like a way of women can go to undermine it too. Now, whether they will is up to them, but they have the option, and that's the problem. And then in the black community, well, the black community is not a patriarchy. It never has been. At best, it's been a matriarchy, but for the most part, it's been a gynocracy. And when I say the black community, I mean the ADOS black community in the United States. I don't want to debate people on whether we are native to America or not. It doesn't matter, because if you're classified as black, it's not like the native blacks are all patriarchs. So it doesn't matter. Either way you want to believe, it still comes back to this point. So if you want to have a constructive black community, a competitive black community, that gynocracy needs to be addressed. So with all that being said, I want to come. Here's the things we're going to talk about as far as what people want to challenge me on. Number one, I believe that culture matters more than education. Culture comes first. A fucked up culture will fuck up education. It's like trying to say, think of education like algebra and think of culture like arithmetic. If you believe 1 + 1 is 2.5, it doesn't matter. Everything you do in math will always be off, even if it's slight. And the deeper you get into it, the bigger scale you get into it, the wider the gaps are. So I've had where people disagree with that. So that's definitely something I want to talk about. The other thing is economics is more important than politics. They're both important, but economics comes first. And quite frankly, in my opinion, it's a lot of things that we have control over, a lot more control than what we're exercising. As far as game versus no game, I believe that's a false question. I call game social skills. And quite frankly, my issue is black men operate game like it's a religion. That's the problem. It's not so much game, it's the way we go about it. We look at game like we look at talking about celebrities and like devil worship. It's something that puts us in a subjective mind and thinking like a female, quite frankly. I can literally hear the IQ going down when we talk about game. We don't talk about game in a sense of how it moves black men forward, even in dating and women. It's really a fantasy. Niggas living through fantasies of what they want shit to be, and not the practicality of strategizing how I go about doing it. I'm really giving stuff in case they want to come up here, what they can really throw at me. So we've done politics, we've done game versus no game, education versus culture is like the biggest one. And then obviously passports versus domestic issue as well. I am a practitioner. I believe that black men should keep all options on the table. So I think anybody that has this belief that you shouldn't travel, I believe if you don't ever have sex with a woman, you should travel. So this idea that all passport guy, that's bullshit. So I have no problem debating that. So other than that, those are the 4 things. Anybody got questions on me with them, they have an ability to do that. So we'll see.
All right. Well, y'all know how we do this. Those of you who follow the Prophet of Thought series, y'all know how this is done. Anybody that wants to come up here and challenge Brother Edward, you must hit me with an email. The email is prophetofthought@yahoo.com. That's prophetofthought, one word, no caps, @yahoo.com. Now, Brother Edward has to agree to square off with you now. If he say no, I kick your ass off. So there is that. There is that.
And here's another thing. Oh yeah, I don't have a problem debating anybody, so you can already pull them up. I will say this. Here's some ground rules. Number 1, no personal shit. I'm not going to ask you personal shit. Don't ask me personal shit. I'm a private person. I'm not a private person because I'm scared of being exposed. Fuck y'all on YouTube. Okay? I do stuff even in other sectors of YouTube. And quite frankly, I don't know. You know, if you can't prove your point without bringing up personal shit, then quite frankly, you don't have a point. And I won't, and I'm not going to bring up personal shit. The same, that's why I don't tend to get into other people's personal shit other than what they've already disclosed publicly. The other thing is I'm not doing the nigga shit. I'm not. I've listened to some of yours, and Prophet, I know you aim to run a good ship, but you also allow people, be who they are. And I understand that's a hard balance. It is. But I don't give a fuck about any of y'all have an issue with me, any beefs. I don't go out of my way to beef with people. I tend to stick to the points. And because I don't beef with people, I talk about the points. And yeah, I'm not playing this battle rapping bullshit with you all. I aim to want to be more productive than not. That's why I came into this space. And I know some of you all, and I don't have a problem with talking to anybody, even people that I think that are geared towards that. But there is not gonna be no fuck you nigga, oh blah blah blah. Oh, we gonna get you exposed. Understand something? I don't give a damn if anybody listens to me on my own channel. I did what I did before I had any subscriber count. So this idea that I need to prove to anyone why I do what I do, that no, because you ain't that important. And I'm talking about anybody. So if that's where you want to go, and it is what it is, but yeah, I just want to make people clear on that. Now, if anybody want to challenge me on my ideas, feel free. I don't pretend to know everything. Usually it's very rare that somebody can, but hey,
Yeah, well,
here.
This is how we do the challenges. Like, you come in, you kind of set the rules, man. I mean, anybody who don't want to follow the rules that you're setting up here, they get kicked the hell off.
Yeah, I
mean,
think they're reasonable. I mean, I'm just not trying. I'm 34 years old. I'm not
whatever
trying to
rules you want to apply to this challenge, because this is the Edward Anderson challenge. Whatever rules you want to apply to it, they don't want to follow it. I got this little thing here called a mouse. See it? I click a button and they disappear. So there is that.
Yeah, I mean, we want. Yeah, I appreciate that, but that's not gonna happen. As long as y'all don't wild out, that's not gonna happen. As long as we ain't getting no yelling match and all that, it is what it is. So anyway, yeah. Anybody want to come on? They can come on. I see some people in the chat are already bringing up a name.
There's the email. Hit the email if you wish to come up here and square off with Brother Edward. But before people start coming up, because no one's hit the email yet, let me ask you: what do you label yourself anything? Do you label yourself red pill, SYSBM? Do you label yourself any of those things? Are you part of that?
I mean, the thing I'll say this to answer the question directly. I do believe in the red pill. The red pill is about awareness. What you do with that awareness, that's where we start to get into the MGTOW, Igmore, Passport Bros, SYSBM. And as far as me personally, if I had to put labels on me, I'm economically pro-black. I'm definitely I wear that. I definitely wear the red pill. I had to say out of all of the other things, I would probably say I come from more of the Igmore group. And what separates Igmore and SYSBM is Igmore's definitely agreed as far as the marriage piece. Although I'm not 100% anti-marriage, my thoughts on the marriage piece is the laws have to be adjusted. The laws have to be changed. They have to reflect modern times and in fact where women are today. We have our marriage laws reflect women that are pre first wave feminism. I'm cool with feminism up until up to 2. Once you get to 3 and up, that's where we have a problem. No problem with women in the workplace. But all this other crap that comes along with 3, which just to give you our hamper, we can say 3 starts with abortion. And then we also look at 3 as no fault divorce. But really it starts with abortion. That's why I have a problem. So, yeah, I'd say Igmore, economically pro-black. And I would say and economically pro-black is not the same as just normally pro-black. That means the money I care about more than anything else. Meaning, so if somebody's dating or married to a non-black woman, I'm like, okay, what are the economics that they're bringing into the black community? That's what I look at first before anything else. And yeah, so those are the 3 that I wear. I'll say the passport thing I'll wear too, because I actually was in the passport community before I got into the black manosphere. A lot of people don't know that. So those are 4.
So you do consider yourself part of the space, part of the sphere.
Absolutely. Okay. But we're all multiple things. You know, we're like, no, that's the thing. We put people in this one thing or not one thing. I think that's what people are learning, you know, with some of the stuff that's going on with the dating community or passport community is people occupy multiple spaces. Like just because some, like for instance, you know, I'm not trying to bring up any names, but let's take Donovan, for example. And I like Donovan just because, oh, Donovan's married. Oh my God. Well, that doesn't discount his entire life. He's led a very interesting, do what he wants to do, and the consequences are what they are life. You can't say his life experience is negated just because he's married, or some like Kevin Samuels because they're not married. So we all occupy multiple different things, but and I think we lose that. And everything. My thing is this: like when people talk about the tricking and all of that, you don't have to do that. But what, and you may not even have to like people that do it, but understand it's there for a reason, and understand that if you think, like take Quavos for example. Technically, Quavos, when you look at who he is as a person, that technically doesn't count as tricking.
Mm.
But he spent $2 million, you know, on a female that's not his wife. And I get he got the, well, apparently he got the money, even though he, you know, they say he's worth 5 million. And yeah, he got the car back. So that was smart. That lease thing was actually very smart. Gave him credit for that. But the watch, and I get that people do that. I don't have a problem with that. But my thing is, Saweetie is a very attractive woman, but $2 million attractive. And again, you know, but my point is, we get caught up on these things and not look at the greater points. So what happens is we just start arguing and be arguing. And yeah, when there's something that needs to be hashed out, it needs to be hashed out. The manosphere has always, like for instance, the manosphere has rejected MGTOW, the black manosphere. They rejected that pretty much in 2.0. You know, this idea that black men are just not going to get sex, that's a non-starter. So think the idea that you're going to have a lot of these, I'm going to say this and I'm done. A lot of these, like a lot of the pro-Democrats, you know, the pro-Democratic Party dudes, like people like New Possibilities and stuff like that, a lot of them were pushed out. Not to say that the conservatives are the ones that control it, because they get dialed back too. But, you know, the manosphere has always had this tug and pull on different things. And I think, you know, everything has a point, but I think too many dudes, they let the personal get in the way of what this space is about, which is having vigorous conversation and vigorous debate. I really don't have a personal issue with anybody. I will say this: the biggest issue I have on the passport thing is the fact that, you know, people are being alluded to that they're sexual predators or that they're perverts. I have a problem with that. If you want to say dudes to go to get a passport as a bitch ass nigga or weak ass nigga, they can't do nothing in the United States, you know what? That's your right to say that. But once people start throwing that kind of slanderous stuff or alluding to that, that becomes very devastating propaganda, and it becomes stuff that can be thrown right back. And we don't really want to do that in this space. But I recognize people's right to having their opinions, even negative, on dudes that get passports or whatever they think. I just think that's a bridge too far when they do that. They start doing that little girl shit. Other than that, I really don't care what people say. But yeah, I hope that makes it clear. Clear enough.
Well, what's your take? Because you've been around for a while, and let me see. I think you have a challenger. Yes, you do. What do you think about? Well, I'm not going to say this particular space. I'm going to say YouTube, media, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram in general. What's your take on? Yeah, what's your take on all this stuff, man?
It's a gift and a curse. I mean, it's like giving a gun to a teenager. It's not a kid, but do you really want to get? But it's kind of like if a teenager isn't taught how to use it or given the proper, you know, prerequisites, you know, it can be a problem. Black people, both black women, black men and black women, we are about 10 years out of step with our emotional maturity as a collective group. Both black men and black women have this problem. Usually when we get to 30, we're operating like we're in our 20s. And to be said, Americans have this problem in general. If you ever talk to Europeans, like, you know, one of my anecdotal evidence pieces is, there's a lot of European, there's more Europeans out where I'm at in North Carolina, people think, because we have a lot of universities. So, and when you really have conversations with them and how they think, this is not to say they're smarter than us and they have their own BS, but the thing is, you really start to see kind of the emotional ages of people. And the problem is that and I've noticed this even before that, Black people have this thing where we grow up late. Now, people will say, this is a millennial issue. That may be true, that's starting with the millennials. I'll see that point. But the reality is we never take a look at what are the emotional ages of folks that have certain ideas they have. Like when you hear people say that 20 is young, 22, like they refer to women as girls when you're 22, 23. And I'm not talking about in passing. I'm just talking about like, oh my God, that's a girl. That's a girl. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, this is a grown woman. She can make her own decisions. But, it is. But as far as so coming back to the social media piece, we take a lot of that BS and social media amplifies. It's like giving people money. Money amplifies what you already are because it takes the locks off of it. It takes the barriers of communication off of it and liberalized media. You've seen people use it very effectively. You've seen people use it in a variety of different ways. And I mean, I guess it is what it is. I choose to try to stick to what's more productive. And even the way I use social media is more of a learning thing. How I use it is more of a teaching thing or putting out my opinion. Other people use it for other ways. That's their right. And quite frankly, and this is probably the most important thing that I'm going to say, I don't blame the content creators. The content creators make content that the audience is willing to watch. And a lot of y'all talk about the nigga shit, but you all are always around when the nigga shit happens. So am I going to blame the content creators or I'm going to blame y'all? It's even people I've had to tell, stop emailing me what somebody said about me. Somebody said Super Sly said something about me, and I told him, I said he has a right to say it because I've mentioned his name as far as certain opinions and stuff. I'm not about to do a back and forth. It is what it is. And I didn't say it in a bad way because I know he wasn't trying to do it in bad faith, but I don't care what people say about me as long as they're not like saying I'm a predator or any crazy shit like that. And I think a lot of the audience wants this fucking Real Housewife reality show bullshit. Remember, reality TV kind of came online with social media at the same time too. So it is what it is. I just choose to stay where I'm at.
Well, we have been joined by Brother Supreme. What's good with it, Brother Supreme?
Yeah, I want all the smoke from Ed, man. I don't want a piece of it. I want the whole thing.
Are you here to challenge Brother Edward?
Man, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
All right, so what you got?
Nah, I ain't got nothing, man. I just got a question for you. I wanted to pick your brain real quick while you was waiting for a real challenger.
Sure.
I think we got one in we got another one in the wings. Go ahead, y'all got it. Go ahead.
So real quickly, Ed, and it's something that I've observed, and I'm trying to see how to think about this. So I want to get your opinion. You remember when all the stuff was going down with what was that? Michael Brown and George Floyd and Aubrey and Brown Taylor.
Yeah, like all that stuff kind of went down at the same time. Yeah, like the riots.
How many? If you could just estimate about how many man hours of time do you think went into the manosphere covering those topics?
I mean, no more than anything else. I mean, one thing I'll give a lot of dudes credit for is some dudes were on the ground, like actually filming the stuff in real time. Like I was like literally looking at that shit on my iPad, like looking at like stuff on fire and all of that. And I mean, goddamn, that's the best media you can get right there on the on the level. So some people did some really, really good reporting, walking around, really showing stuff in real time. So you're getting it from the media. Hold on, I got you. I'm gonna answer that, but I was proud of that part. It was about 3 YouTubers that really did that, and it was in different cities. That's what made it so crazy. And then, but as far as covering it, I mean, we covered that just as much as we covered anything else, I think. I don't think that was covered anymore. It just remember the manosphere. The black manosphere depends on what channels you look at. You know, everybody's manosphere is different.
I'm not saying anything's wrong with the coverage. That's not the problem.
You're asking me like how much? I mean, like I said, I can't really give you a number, but I'd say we didn't spend weeks upon weeks upon weeks on it. It's when I say we covered it like everything else. Like when the I forget the dude that was in they got attacked because they wanted to say he was walking through construction, he was stealing in Georgia. We covered that, and that was a thing, fantastic and all. And we just like anything else happens. The George Floyd thing happened. We covered that. Then we covered like the riots as they were going on. But it hasn't been a thing where it's like we've constantly been coming back to. In fact, the murder trial of George Floyd, honestly, I haven't heard jack shit from anybody on that at all.
Okay. So all I want to do was compare. So
yeah.
This whole thing happened, you know, I would say that it was, I don't know if you would agree, but it was well covered. Like all of those.
Yeah, like and and that's another thing. All perspectives were covered because the people had some very, they had some very, you know, very alternative perspectives to what, you know, the typical black community would have, and they stood on it.
Okay, so give me your thoughts on how the coverage has been on the two girls in DC, 13 and 15, that killed that Uber driver, and and weren't charged as
There hasn't been any coverage. I haven't seen any.
No,
because remember, I have Hold on, I just want to give you context. I have
why
Telegram.
Do you think that that's the case?
You know, I guess it's the same reason why people kind of covered the Cardi B thing when she said what she said. They didn't really cover that either. It's more like I don't really know. I don't why dudes aren't really rail gunning that up and like saying this is an issue. I don't know.
I don't know. Issue?
Do I think it's an issue what happened with that Uber? First of all, I'm not familiar with I know the story. Was that Uber driver black?
No.
Okay, that's another reason why I probably didn't tripwire a lot of black men, by the way. Which that could be your answer. Not saying it's right, but that could be your answer. As far as, you know, do I think that's an issue? Do I think that's an issue covering black criminality of females or what they did to a non-black person? That's kind of low on my list of issues. I'll say that.
I'm just wondering because
I got a lot more gripes than that.
And the only reason I'm asking you, Ed, is this, because I can truly state that you were the one that kind of coined that whole term, Gynocracy, right? You know, it so far has made it popular in the
sector. I got it from BGS and
right.
Yeah, but I did make it a railgun, yes.
And wouldn't you say that is a direct result of such?
Yes and no. Actually, I would say no. I can see why you would say that. That's why I'm saying yes. Here's interesting. It's interesting you brought that up. As the easy resources, as dudes start to wake up, as millennials start to take over, and a lot of easy access to male resources that women have enjoyed because dudes have just been going along to fucking get along. As dudes do things like SYSBM, passport, bro, you know, the passport shit is still in its crib. That hasn't even really done anything yet. Really, SYSBM is much more of a bigger thing. And as millennials are doing this on their own, as people do all this stuff on their own, you know, and women get in more of a desperate situation because of the, you know, as Ulysses and the Black Brain Trust talk about the fourth wave and the she session, as Kevin Samuels is talking about, basically women's resources being constricted, particularly black women. Then you got all this debt. Then you got the lower classes, which is what that happened with. You are going to see women do desperate shit and do crazy shit. And so that is actually going to be a consequence of dudes actually, you know, pulling their money out of a bank, if you will. That's more how I see that going. And that's why I kept saying there is no one size fits all. Game, a lot of these dudes that look, I'm not saying the dudes that promote game. What I'm talking about is a lot of y'all dealing with these women, y'all gonna have to be careful, and that includes everybody. Because if you're dealing with, and when I say not all women, but what I mean is, if you're dealing with people and you're not really thinking about who you're dealing with and how they get down, and you're not paying attention to the signs, this society is not going to be outraged in you getting caught up. I mean, Cardi B is out there, look at who Nicki Minaj is with. So women are going to do more crazy shit as a consequence of them being desperate, especially trying to hold on to a lifestyle that they think it is. I'm not saying about rich women, but even broke women. And this has always been the case, by the way.
So you find no issue with, again,
I don't find an issue with it. I didn't say I didn't find an issue with it, but
just let me complete. I'm not saying what the girls did. I'm saying you find no issue so far as with the gynocracy, as you coin it, having no response to a 13 and a 15-year-old girl carjacking and killing a senior citizen.
I mean, of course they're going to be on code with that. What was that woman that killed that dude? I feel that's Satoya Brown, and she just got out, and she actually got a decent guy. Nobody ain't talking about that either. So yeah, they're going to be on code. You got to look at that just like how white folks are not going to have certain responses to stuff. That's normal. The reason why I talk about the gynocracy is because once you understand it and once you understand what it is, you can therefore navigate it, and these things don't become a big issue. But am I going to lose sleep at night over that? Look, I was an Uber driver for 3 years. So I did over 11,000 rides. I did a lot of those rides while I was in the Coliseum days on BGS's platform. So make no mistake. I've now, to be fair, black women are actually some of my better customers. I'm not even gonna lie, and they actually tip the best. I'm not even gonna lie about that. But yeah, that could have happened.
My last thought on that, Ed, is as a group, you don't believe that? Are you saying that you don't think that there should be a louder voice about what happened there in DC, especially with?
I'm not saying that there shouldn't be. Here's the thing. One of the things, no, Jay Sean, I'm giving context so people can understand I'm being fair about it. But to answer your question, but what we have to understand is when it comes to, I get what you're saying, and that's a valid concern. But when you look at black male media has to get bigger than YouTube. Black male media has to get bigger than social media. Shout out to O'Shea and the Negro Manosphere. There needs to be more blogs like that, more that are sustained. There needs to be a bigger pool of people donating. Don't give a damn if you donate to me, but make sure you donate to Prophet of Thought. Even if you can't donate, we can do something that's free, which is share content. All of y'all have networks. All of y'all have stuff on social media. Don't act like you don't. All of y'all have people that you know. A big reason why Kevin grew to what he did, because a lot of people were talking about his stuff offline. The women do this, by the way. And they have networks outside of the major channels. So my point is, we have to have a bigger element so we can railgun articles like that. But at the end of the day, so I understand that need. Like, I wish somebody would have bought World Star Hip Hop, quite frankly. One of the like Jay-Z or something like that. Like, aggregate these sites. Shout out to The Avenger. But my priority isn't that. Like, my priority isn't that, especially when it's a non. I gotta say this is effed up. I don't care. I understand. I can see why black men wouldn't have had the knee-jerk reaction to throw black women under the bus when it was a non-black person that got attacked. I can see why black men didn't do that. I'm not saying it's right, but I can see why they didn't do that.
All right, I'll let you have at it, Ed. You do your thing, bro.
Yeah, but you're right. It should be covered. It's just, that's what a blog is for. That's what one of the bigger blogs are for, to have an article out there so we can all piggyback off of it. Somebody, but we got to get to that level. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we've been joined by Brother Amiri. What's good with it, Brother Amiri? Are you here to challenge Brother Edward?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're fading in and out a little bit, though.
Okay, yeah, I'm having audio issues, man. I don't know what's going on. I think it's the weather. I'm in bad weather right now, so it might be the weather.
Okay.
Well,
So are
I
you
think me and Ed had a.
are you here
Go
to
ahead.
square off with Brother Edward? Are you here to square off with Brother Edward Anderson?
Sure, but it was a while back, and him and I had a run in on Facebook, so I can't remember exactly what we were supposed to be debating, because he gave me an invitation to come up to his channel one day. So I can't really remember what it was about, and I didn't catch enough of the stream to see what he was talking about, because thus far he hasn't said anything I disagree with. But maybe he can get things going with what it was we were supposed to be discussing.
The issue we have is you believe that black men over here are not being fair, and we're just laying everything at the feet of black women. That's really what it is. That's what the problem is, and that's what that's what we were going to talk about.
Okay, let me ask you a question, because I hear that referenced a lot, right? The gynocracy. I just have two questions on that. First would be, what is the working definition of gynocracy? So what's meant by that? And then the other part of the question is, what's the opposite of that?
Gynocracy is basically a situation where women have control, women dominate the men in a society or a group. That's what it is. It's different than a matriarchy. And matriarchy is what people typically talk about in the black community. Matriarchy is actually a little bit different. It just means women have control over the home, and the matrilineal line, who your mother is who you are, if you look at race. But the men still have control over certain levels of society. The black church was the perfect definition of what a matriarchy is. A gynocracy is when women dominate pretty much all aspects of life. And quite frankly, the black community is a gynocracy powered by white supremacy. If you look at any other part in the diaspora, you notice the women don't have the same kind of ability to control that society as black women as they do in America. Why? Because they don't have that white element. So when people talk about white supremacy, what you have to understand is, if it's just like talking about winning a championship. You got to get your team in order first. Then you got to make the playoffs. Then you got to get to the finals. Then you win the championship. Black people want to win the championship when white people can always, basically activate that Manchurian candidate that raises your sons, raises your kids that are in your home, which is that woman. And quite frankly, black people don't have a social contract. So like I said, it's gynocracy. Now, if you want to talk about the opposite of that, I guess you could say patriarchy, which is where men dominate. So patriarchy is one on the left, gynocracy is on the right. We're not in the middle. We're on the right.
All right. Okay. Now I'm gonna. Here's the thing, right? Because this is a talking point that I hear, come out of, I guess the red pill, or just, in regular conversation with brothers a lot, right? And that's the idea that women are the gatekeepers of sex. Do you agree with that?
That as it's supposed to be.
Right. So they're the gatekeepers of sex. We agree on that.
Yes.
Okay. So my next question would be, are you familiar with the fundamental premise that all human interaction is based upon sex?
Oh wow. So you're gonna really go the same route. No, it's not, because you can deal with humans asexually. We deal with each other all the time. When we deal with somebody in business, that's an asexual interaction, even with women. So no, I don't agree with that.
So everything that we do isn't to guarantee the continuation of the species?
Everybody we deal with isn't for that purpose. No.
No, everything we do is for that. Food, shelter, clothing is for continuation of the species, and the fundamental a thing that you need to continue the species is sex. All human interaction is based on sex. All of it. It's all power dynamic. This is why we call gender sex.
So what would you call people that choose not to have children?
A colloquialism for gender is sex.
So what would you call people that don't choose not to have children?
What do you mean?
Everybody
they're
doesn't
people.
have children.
You know what I'm saying?
My point is, if they're not having children, they're not continuing the species.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The act of procreation.
What about gay people?
It doesn't matter. Those gay people wouldn't be if two people didn't have sex.
Okay, so what does that have to do with what you're saying?
So my larger point here is that, and this has always been my gripe, is that many brothers take up this mantra against gynocracy, matriarchy. Yes. Okay. Matriarchy, and these different things. But the thing is, the society, that's why men do the things that they do. That's why men do the things that they do. So it's going to always go back to the same thing. What you have is a lot of brothers who, in this attempt to think that they're pushing back against something that's opposite of patriarchy, so they go against the gynocracy, or they go against the matriarchy. But even as Dr. Tom Curry correctly points out, patriarchy is steeped in the maternal instinct. So patriarchy is something that's actually facilitated by women, because they're the gatekeepers of sex. Which is why you hear brothers talking about, they make sorry men. They choose the fathers. They allow the wrong types of males to procreate and to breed. So my point is that women have always been in the driver's seat of society.
Hold on a second. Are we debating? Are we debating here? What are we doing?
I guess we are.
All right, let me get my clock up. So
I ain't gonna have a lot.
Oh, don't worry. These debates are short.
Okay.
They are short debates. Very, very short. All right, let me get my clock up here. Because what we're going to do, we'll do this. This is what we're going to do. What we'll do is we'll just do 5-minute rounds. All right. We'll do 5-minute rounds. Being that you're going against Brother Edward, this is his challenge. So you will be going first. Brother Amiri, you've been here before. You know the rules. You know how we throw down. You got 5 minutes to lay down your case. Then Brother Edward got 5, and we'll do it like that for maybe 20 minutes, and then we'll go to the polls. How that sound?
That's fine.
All right. 5 minutes on the clock. Brother Amiri, pull the trigger. You up.
Well, like I was saying, this is brothers attacking. It's a smoke screen, which is why I think, and we use this whole terminology about red pill, because, like he said, it's awareness, waking up from the matrix. The matrix has the matrix, or the red pill that brothers are waking up from, is the idea that men run shit, and they don't. Men are merely the biomachinery that women use to do their bidding. It's always been that way. You see what I'm saying? The same way women are the biomachinery that children use to do their bidding. That's the way it works. That's the way Mother Nature intended it. You see what I'm saying? So my only gripe or criticism has been is that I see a lot of brothers talking about things that's just you're going to end up with where you started with, because that's just the way it works in nature. Like I was saying before, patriarchy is something that's steeped in the maternal instinct. It's steeped in the maternal instinct. Those drives that are instilled in male children, that comes from the mother. Like, look at Alexander the Great, for example. Alexander the Great became who he became not because of his father Philip, but because of his mother. It was his mother who instilled that need to want to conquer and seize the kingdom of Macedonia and expand it to the reach that he did. That was something that came from his mother. You see, and that's why I gave sisters the counter message that you have to stop instilling weakness and ineffectiveness and fecklessness into your sons. Into your sons. A lot of times what happens when we use, there's a couple of different definitions you can use for patriarchy. One, patriarchy is synonymous with fatherhood. And two, But within feminist theory, when what feminists are calling patriarchy isn't patriarchy at all, it's male chauvinism, Anglo-American male chauvinism. That's what they call patriarchy. You see, but patriarchy fundamentally is fatherhood, and women choose who are going to be the father. Do we not understand that? Do we not understand that? So you're just going to end up with what you started with. It's a Sisyphean effort and exercise. You see, and I'm of the thinking, and I'm of the mindset that men don't focus on things that are fruitless and aren't productive. You see, fundamentally, a man has to be productive. You see, and then another thing that now I hear brothers talking about this. There's this anti-marriage wave, and like all those things do is lead us to a place of race suicide, where you call your own numbers. You see, this thing where you disincentivize procreation or reproducing. I heard Edward mention abortion. That's what it is. Eugenics, population control. You see, so this thing where you use the economics to get the undesirables of your society to not reproduce or procreate. You see, so I'll just leave it there. That's just the groundwork of my thoughts on it.
All right. Brother Edward, do you want that 59 seconds?
59 seconds.
Yep.
Okay, so I have 59 seconds to do. Fine.
No, you have 5 minutes. That's his 59 seconds that he seeded. Do you want it?
Yeah. I probably won't need it, but yeah.
All right. 5:59 on the clock. Brother Edward, you're up. Pull the trigger.
All right, you can go. All right, here's the thing. The thing about it is race suicide is irrelevant because race is a social construct. Okay, so that the question is, if you want an actual race, or if you want an ethnic group, if you want a community, you have to have a social contract that both parties agree to. At the end of the day, matriarchy, patriarchy, gynocracy, these are ways people interact with each other. And the problem is Black people don't have a social contract. We're all doing what we want to do. And that's really what the issue is. The problem is you have one group that's playing for keeps, which is women, and you have men that are basically going along to get along. And you're starting to see with the Z's and quite well with the millennials and now the Z's that's not going on. Now, a couple of things you talked about. The whole fundamental way of what you see when it comes to a gynocracy is way off base. First of all, that crap about, we all do this for the women. Women control sex because they're allowed to. If you look at anywhere else in the animal kingdom, and I'm talking about mammals in particular, because the way you describe it, you're describing it like we're insects, where there's a queen and then there's drones that service the queen and eggs. Humans are mammals. We are not insects. So that is completely off, even on a biological, scientific standpoint, what you're saying. And mammals, the men control sex. Because we are civilized creatures, we allow women to have control over their bodies. But make no mistake, if we dial this back, to like 150 years. I mean, let's talk about it. Marriage, women were talking about how men were allowed to rape women in marriage. Women couldn't get out of marriage. My point is that the laws are established by men to control men. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that. So women are allowed to do that. That is something we've given them, not something they have. And it's something that if men as a collective group ever decided to take back, we could, and there's nothing women could do to stop it. So this idea that it's just how it is, that's a construct that you were born into. And that's literally the definition of gynocentric thinking. Now, you want to talk about sex. Sex, I call it sexual gravity. And what that means is this woman, why do women believe they don't have to do anything, or they believe they could just show up? And they talk about they're the table, even if they're not making any money. It's because everything, their whole concept of who they are and what they do in the Black community is projected based on their sexual marketplace value. And their perception of their sexual marketplace value in comparison to what dudes want. If dudes actually started dealing with other women and get out of this guilt and shame thing that they have to deal with black women, and I'm not necessarily recommending that, but what I'm saying is they take back their power of choice, then automatically that dynamic will change, because that will limit the sexual gravity that women have. This is why women think they don't have to do anything. So everything you're talking about in conjunction with like why men do what they do, it really has nothing to do with the woman and everything to do with what's going on in behind the ears of that dude as far as what they think. They look for their manhood in a woman's womb. Now, yeah, I agree, and I've said it before that women choose the father to their children, but also men choose who they want to have sex with. Also, men control relationships. So this idea that everything is done to serve as a continuation of the species, and because the woman has children, that men have to submit themselves to women is categorically false. And that's, I mean, we're only talking about what, 75 years that the world, you can even say the world has worked that way because it's been civilized, but that's not how the world works. And we're in a situation where we can always take it. The other thing is, going back to when I talk about the gynocracy, this is what I'm talking about. We don't have a social contract. The women are using white supremacy as a measure to control the black community, like a conquering entity would use a puppet government. Like, let's say Germany, when they controlled France, they had a puppet government that actually controlled France of the day by day administrating. Also, you see how women raise the boys, how the women come out and the boys come out, that they're purposely putting white supremacy in the boys' ears, weakening them so they don't they're not able to compete in the society. But this idea that you know you want to, and last thing I'm gonna say too is masculinity is fatherhood and all this versus chauvinism. Man, please. Women are having kids with chauvinists. And then they're trying to find good fathers or good dudes that have fathers qualities in order to raise children. If you want to have sex with a black woman, you're more likely to be able to accomplish that being a chauvinist than you are being a good father. You ever ask women what are the top 5 qualities they look for in a man? You notice fatherhood is never there. They'll talk about God-fearing, they'll talk about all this other crap, but when it comes down to it, what's actually making them sleep with a man and actually have children by a man is the very chauvinism they hate. This is why they're looking to clean somebody up later on. And this idea that patriarchy is chauvinistic, that's not really what the definition of patriarchy is. That's just women giving meaning to them not being able to do what they want when they want by their fleeting emotions. You can time that out. I'm done.
All right. 2 things. You have another challenger waiting in the wings. And also, hit that goddamn like button, because if you don't, I will haunt your old black ass mama.
Man, I'm gonna be here till and I'm gonna be here till 11:30.
Got you. You got another challenger waiting in the wings. What's good, brother Super Sly?
Hey, what's happening?
We're gonna go another rebuttal round, and then I'll bring you back up because we got to do them short because we got a lot of people coming through. So we're gonna do one more rebuttal round, and I'll bring you back up. All right, I'll bring you down for now so they can finish going at it. All right. All right. So we're gonna do one more rebuttal round. Let me set the clock. Brother Amiri, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of inaccuracies in errant thinking and the brother's thought processes. Number one, I never said that chauvinism was patriarchy. I said in feminist theory, what feminists characterize as patriarchy and what they call patriarchy is Anglo-American chauvinism. That's what I said. Next thing, he mentioned that we're not insects, we're mammals, and mammals control sex. It's patently false. Lions, for example, like a lot of brothers think lions are patriarchal when they're not. They're matriarchal. The lionesses choose the male lion they want to mate with based off the thickness and the darkness of that male lion's mane. So this whole thing where that's with insects and it's not with mammals, false. He talked about, well, we give these women the rights over their bodies. So aside from the fact that he's trying to make a rational argument for rape, and I think we all can agree that rape isn't a pleasurable a form of sex. Would you rather get sex from a woman by raping her, or would you rather it be consensual? I think we all agree you would rather have the consensual sex. So that's the second point. And like I'm saying, and this is what he's doing. He's doing what I always say brothers do, this thing where we've been controlling women and we've been running. That's a lie. When you go and look in history, all you got to do is just go look at anthropologically, and you'll see that is a lie. That is a lie that feminists tell. See, this is all in feminist theory. Matter of fact, he said that talking about the definition of patriarchy. When you go and look at the anthropological facts, you'll see that there is no finite, concrete definition for patriarchy, which is why I said that there's a couple of different definitions you could use to describe it. You see, but the very word itself, patriarchy, is all it means is father, and so that goes right back to sex. And see this whole discombobulated thinking where you want to make one point, then come and try and counter it. Where now all of a sudden the women ain't in control of sex. It's men who are allowing them to do that. No, man. And matter of fact, he said that sisters are using the gynocracy, using white supremacy to fund the gynocracy. White supremacy, we know, is a patriarchal construct, but it's a patriarchal construct that's precipitated in the white maternal instinct. See, so you want to ignore that. So even the notions of dominance that white males and white boys are born with, that's coming from the mother. The same way where the notions of servitude and fecklessness and being scared, as he put it, is coming from the black mother. See, before you become an adult male, you're under the tutelage of your mother, the first nurturer, the first teacher, the first transmitter of culture comes from the mother. You see, if you go and you look in antiquity, you see where men would pay dowries for a wife. You see what I'm saying? The man paid the dowry for the wife, and this just isn't just a one-dimensional thing, because he was saying, well, these are the rights that we gave women. So you really think, because I'm on this whole male identity thing, I would let some bastard rape my daughter, or my wife, or my mother? See, so men have always been the biomachinery that do the bidding of the women. This whole thing where men just think they've been running around, running and controlling women, that is a mischaracterization of the male-female dynamic. All anyone would have to do is look at history. You find examples across all different types of cultures. It's a bi-directional thing. It's not what we've been taught or what we've been told. See, so the ones who are buying into this whole gynocratic thinking and all this other stuff, it isn't me. I understand that the feminist theory has never been truly vetted. We just take it at face value and we believe it. But you have to go and look at history and the different dynamics that have been at play throughout history between men and women to get to the truth. And as I've stated, the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's not what we've been sold under this modern mantra of feminism. So brothers are advocating for privileges and rights and this position of dominance over women that's never really existed.
All right, that's time. Go ahead, reset the clock. This is going to be the final round. Brother Edward, 5 minutes on the clock. Pull the trigger. You're up, sir.
All right, you can go. All right, so as far as this feminist theory, you're saying that now, you didn't say that originally. You just said fatherhood originally. As far as they choose from the lions that are still alive. So there's that. As far as what they choose, that's dependent of. So that answers that. As far as consensual sex and the rape thing, I knew you was gonna go there when I said it. At the end of the day, just like how women are given welfare and the state to facilitate them having children. And just like how, before there was welfare, in early industrial Europe, it was nothing to have kids on the street not being taken care of. As far as when we were earlier in humans and there was war, the spoils of war were the women and the children, and the men were killed. And what came with that came with that. I'm not advocating for rape, just to be absolutely clear. But the reality of the situation is that is a reality. It was not women that changed that. It was only men that changed that. Only men that changed that. 100% men to change that. And also this idea that men do things at the direction for women. I mean, I don't know where to begin with that. I'm going to have to pull from my subconscious on that one. If that's true, then going back to the point I just made, how is it that women talk about if they were in control, it would be a better world? Yet, if they had all this influence on men, the violence and all that men did. And this is across the board. Even tribes in Africa were warring with each other. Same thing with Asia. Human history is human history. Same thing with Incas and Aztecs. Are women the first teachers? Yes, but they're often the first teachers at the direction of men. And the environment that men establish and lay down allows a woman to teach. When that environment is removed, they call this excommunication as well. They don't have that ability. Also, men have set up systems that give women direction as how to facilitate the teaching of children. Religion is a very good one. And outside the West, religion is often the go-to source as to how the whole society conducts itself to different degrees. So this idea that the woman is always being queen, other mother goddess, I mean, you can't find that in no book. If women had all this influence, where is that anywhere in human history? You're talking about women politicking, like Roman politics, Greek politics, maybe in other cultures as well. But the reality of the situation is women are still politicking around power that men have. And the power that they even have to a politic is given to them by the power that they have amongst the men that they are around. You remove that, they're not there. Well, what about Cleopatra? That's because it's the throne that men establish and they're loyal to that. But if it was a situation where women were constantly going to be in rule, make no mistake, that wouldn't last. And this is why you don't have any situations where women are completely controlling it. Now, you have things within like certain small things, but you don't have any nation states. As far as the patriarchy, that there's multiple terms, we go with what accepted. How people choose to practice it, they're gonna conform it to what their stuff is. Like even matriarchy, a lot of people don't understand this, but when it comes to matriarchy, a lot of assigned marriages come from matriarchy. So this is the idea that's going to be sexual freedom and all of that. It's not happening necessarily in matriarchy. It's just women control that, and women will tighten up that womb more than dudes will in many ways if the society is constructed right. Yeah, so I mean that's all I need. Time.
All right, that's going to conclude the debate. We're doing them short tonight, y'all, because we don't have a lot of time, and Brother Edward is only here till 11:30. So now we go to the polls. If you believe Brother Edward won this debate, put an E in the chat. If you believe Brother Amiri won the debate, put an A in the chat. And we have Brother Super Sly on deck. And we just brought in the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T. debates because I suck at this. Let's go. Hurry up. Do not vote twice, because if you do, my moderators will block your black ass. Don't do it to yourselves. And hit the goddamn like button too. Damn it. Every damn night we gotta go through this hitting the like button shit. Jesus, it only takes a second. One measly second out of your damn life. Black ass Negroes can't even do that. All right, it looks like vote once and hit the like button, Negroes. It's looking like Brother Edward. It's looking like Edward. The people have spoken. It's looking like Brother Edward. Yeah. We're going to call this one for Brother Edward. Looking like Brother Edward. The people have spoken. Good to have you come through, though, Brother Amiri. Damn, he left already? Jesus Christ. Look at the screen. He gone. Appreciate you coming through, Brother Amiri, man. You got to stop by more often. But as said before, the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T. debates has arrived, thankfully. What's good with it, Brother KIT?
What's up, T.P.O.T? What's up, Elwood? What's up, Sly?
What's happening?
Good debate, Amiri. For sure,
Another night of you saving my damn ass up here. Brother Super Sly, what's good with it, man? Are you here to challenge Brother Edward?
Yeah, he's got some points that I don't necessarily agree with.
Okay.
Shoot.
Expound, sir.
So,
expound.
What are my options? I know you listed a couple of options.
That's fine. What are the questions you have?
Okay, I'll just come out and say this. I'll say the manosphere has basically revealed itself to be the very men that women don't want, avoid, or misuse. And if they do deal with them, they'll comply and not submit.
I mean, I thought you were a part of the manosphere.
I'm not a part. This is why I asked that question. Now, why would I be a part of a space that basically rejects the very foundations you would need for a functioning, healthy society?
Okay, so the manosphere has a variety of ideas.
Hold up, Brother Edward. Are we debating?
Hold on, not yet, because we need to be on the same page as far as where the disagreements are first. So the manosphere has a variety of different, like the manosphere is not 100% anti-marriage. There's an anti-marriage element, but there's a lot of dudes that listen in the manosphere that are for marriage. So this idea that so explain further as to what you mean when you say that.
Well, even anti-marriage aside, I watched a panel where a happily married man was jumped 4-on-1 because he expressed that he was happily married. If you want a society of any types, you're going to need the man and the woman. So the very things that you guys rail against, you need. And then when you have men that have that in place, lockstep, you make fun of them, you drive them out, you berate them. That makes no sense. And then you wonder why the women that view that space, and look at these men as just cannon fodder, and they're able to come in and do as they please, and to with no retribution at all.
Okay. Yeah, this will be a good one. All right, so here's and right now we're not in debate mode real quick yet. But here's the thing. As far as that particular situation, there is plenty of black people that like Kev from the Habitual Line Steppers are married, Black Huru. There's quite a few. There's people that either are married or been married, Bernard, even Fantastic. I mean, these people have been married. Now, granted, some of these people, Fantastic is not really for marriage, so I'll take him out of it. But we always have a healthy debate, whether it's Ramil or Gabe A. Because I don't know the people you're talking about, so I may hit some of these people that are. It's always a put. So it's not where it's a hive mind where marriage is not there. The fact that they have to be as loud and forceful about that should tell you that there's friction there. Now, me personally, I said that there should be a purple pill space. Hell, even Obsidian is not against marriage. He's just not married. I've said there should be a purple pill space. It should be basically clearly necessarily separate it, because the audience, the red pill audience, is going to be what they are, and I understand that. And there should be a purple pill spaces be created to have those ideas. The issue that you really see with marriage really is you have dudes. I would challenge you to go watch Glendon Cameron's video he just did when he talked about the weed man, and he talks about this. And by the way, it goes kind of into what you're talking about, where he had this thing called Disruptive Male, which was his kind of dating coach business. He's a course creator, and then he said he made the best case that anybody has made for why men should get married, which is if you're not chasing all these chicks, you can be more productive. And this is a guy that's a millionaire that can show 1 year he had a stable girlfriend, 1 year when he was getting a lot of different women, and he said he was more productive with the girlfriend. And he said even later in life he'll probably get married. He's talking about north of even Alan Roger Curry. Alan Roger Curry is in the space and he's married. So I get it. It's more on team don't get married, but it's not so like they've been snuffed out. Like, I'll say this. It's not like, well, MGTOW, you don't have sex with women. That's been snuffed out of the black manosphere. That conversation is really not allowed to really be had. But marriage, even though I can understand why somebody will think that's trying to get pushed that way, you still have a whole bunch of dudes that are married and come in here and argue for that. The problem with those dudes is a lot of times they don't have the points to really address what the concerns a lot of these dudes have. So it comes off as them cheerleading for it. As far as dudes are happily married, hey, I hope he stays happily married. But that doesn't discount some of the statistics. That doesn't discount the 80% divorces being activated by the women. That doesn't discount 1 in 4 women being married. You got a couple of people in great relationships. Gab Talk Media, dude you're talking about. You got people in great cohabitation situations. Sub-Zero 3639, and that's far I'll go with that. But so anyway, go ahead.
Here's the problem. I've never seen a panel of married men try to shame single men as to why are you single. It's always you get the married men and say, well, give us the benefits of being married. If you don't know, if you can't figure it out by now, I don't know what else to tell you. Secondly, you mentioned ARC. How much hell did ARC receive when he announced he was engaged? Okay, and
I'd say less than Donovan, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
but
I'm glad you mentioned Donovan. The fact that this man had to hide he was married from his constituents.
That's the white manosphere, but go ahead.
Period. The fact that he had to hide that he was married from his constituents and out of basically fear that it would have killed his entire message. Now everyone's making fun of him because he's married. He's able to put his wife to work for him, and he's still catching flack for that.
Yeah, I think that's stupid too. I said that in the beginning of the thing. I said even if he's married, his life experience. I mean, dude was in Vegas. Dude, I mean, he's put all this stuff out, the stuff that he did. I mean, he clearly lived a bachelor's lifestyle doing what the fuck he wanted to do. So, yeah, but that's more the white folks. But we'll jump to Alan because Alan's more the black folks. I mean, as far as Alan, a lot of that is I just want to find something to throw dirt at him. And that's just another thing. But him being mode 1 up until he was tired of hang it up, like that's the stuff I say that shouldn't happen. But my thing is, as far going to the other thing though, as far as the thing, a panel of married men, I mean, you don't see that not because it's not there. I mean, these dudes, Gabe A and them will definitely throw their shots out, but no, there's just not a panel of married men. I mean, you could create that panel if you like. The question, I guess, if I were to answer this is, could you create a purple pill space of dudes that are married and actually build that out? I actually think you could. And the fact that you can, and you could do that from the manosphere, shows that there's clearly an audience of dudes that are being married. Enough of it there.
I agree, but my point is there's more than enough marriage shaming in these spaces to for me to say, that's a problem, because the very foundation you guys keep complaining about the community and it's in shambles. You need families, functioning families, and if you're not for that very basis of it, and to the point where marriage, the state laws, okay, then do a private marriage contract. That ends the discussion right there. What are we talking about at that point? You don't want to involve the state, get a private marriage contract. What's the problem?
I'm not gonna give you ways that can be broken, because I don't know. I live in the state of North Carolina.
There's remedy for everything. There's always a remedy for whatever problem that's out there.
I will say this. I'm not gonna even act like I can speak intelligent on what that is. I will say this: North Carolina is this is probably one of the best states if you're gonna get married and do a prenup and stuff that you can do it in. They have very unique laws, such as the homewrecker law, that allows that woman to point that shit at that bitch that cheated, that he cheated with, which that originated in North Carolina. So it depends on what your state is, but I will say this: it's not the marriage. There's two issues with the marriage thing that that needs to be addressed. Number one is before marriage, Black people don't have a social contract with each other in any aggregate group. I'm not saying as an individual you can't make a deal. What I'm saying is as an aggregate group. Let's not even talk about the entire Black community. Let's cut it up in fives, whatever sector. Either do the people that believe they're native. I won't even say believe. I'm not here to challenge that. There, you can't show any sectors of Black people. The United States Islam is an exception, but outside of them, as an aggregate group, we have a contract as a group that you can trust. That's the key issue, and that's something that a lot of dudes that are married and dudes that want to advocate marriage don't really talk about. That's number one. Number two is when it comes to marriage, the biggest issue I have with marriage is not marriage, the institution, it's the laws. The reality is these laws were built around the time when, feminism, wasn't even in its first wave. And so that they have not been updated to accurately reflect the position that women are in now. And especially their ability to get work easier than men as an entire group, not sector by sector, their ability to make more money they've ever made before. That's not accurately reflected in the laws. And there's very much ways to use marriage as a way to control and dismantle a man. Even dudes that are married acknowledge that. That's the biggest issue. And here's the thing, the argument always is, oh, well, why don't y'all change it? Well, the problem is we got too many motherfuckers that keep shit the way it is. Even dudes that are married, but it's not just dudes that are married. It's dudes that are not married too that keep the laws the way they are. So the problem, even before you get to the women, you got to deal with the men internally. So what you're talking about is shaming is an internal debate. Now, me personally, when it comes to guys that are married, I'm gonna say this and I'm done because I know I'm talking a lot. This is what I've said, and I've said this on my channel over and over and over again. I have stated that at the end of the day, you all gotta let dudes make a choice, even if you disagree with it, because it's not your life. I'll give you an example. I know the dude you don't like, and I've always acknowledged that you're not hating on him. As far as your critiques of him, when some people are. But even that guy, which I'm not going to name, when he's advocating for people getting married, acknowledge these issues, and a lot of people support him. And it's not so much that they don't want to get married, it's that these things have to be adjusted. And it's like people need to be on the same page with that. And I've said this over and over again. Black men have to let people make a choice. They listen to that guy because they want to believe in the idea of marriage. Some of them listen to it because they're red meat. And shaming dudes that want to believe in that institution, even if you think they're going to run off a cliff, that's their car to drive it off of. That's their life. And in this argument where we're sitting here and just shaming people, I don't agree with. And I've always demonstrated that I don't agree with that. At the end of the day, they have every right to make that choice. As a man, you can sit there and say, these are what the pitfalls is. And if you get fucked in the game, don't come back crying because you knew what you were doing. But once it becomes this thing about we're just going to shame, I don't agree with that. And I've always stood like that on my own. And yeah, I'll acknowledge that needs to be adjusted a little bit. I'll acknowledge that. Go ahead.
Okay. I hear
Hold on a second, brother. All Super Slide. Are we clocking, Ed?
No, this is more of a conversation.
Okay, that's fine. No clock. Go ahead, brother. Super Slide.
I'm the first one to tell anybody, do you vet the woman, continue to vet the woman. But it's like you guys want a cheat code. There's no cheat code for this. If we all agree life is a gamble, if marriage is a high risk, low reward stock, treat it as such, right? I hear guys say, well, don't fall in love with the woman. That's fine. And then, yes, you are taking away guys' choice to get, as soon as a guy says, well, I'm engaged, he gets hits with barrage. Don't do it, bro. She gonna flip on you. You give him every reason to have placed doubt in the guy's mind before he even has a chance to even walk down the aisle. Keep It Techie is married. I'm married. But we don't come in here waving the flag. Look at us, we're married. You guys are single. You shame on you guys. That's not how we get down. Single men apparently have this closeted disdain for guys that are married. Why? Because we're not having the problems that you guys have. I'm sorry we found good women that have our backs, that will do the best and for us and put us first. I'm sorry. That's not happening for some of you guys. Okay?
Yes.
I can't help that. I can't empathize
I am
with that
sorry
shit.
too. I am sorry too, brothers. I am sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, but I'm saying, like, you know, and it just comes out when married men and single men get into the same space. We don't have the same problems. We don't have the same issues. Our issues, I would say, are greater than any single man issues. We are heads of households. We have real life responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? If the shit goes left, it's our fault. When shit wins, we don't get the credit. So these are expectations and realizations that I don't expect a single man to ever understand. And I can't respect a single man's opinion if he's never been married.
That's not the consequence of you being married, though. That's the consequence of you having a good relationship, and those are not the same thing. You know, like, so I get what you're saying, but the reality is more men are in submissive relationship. More black men, and I can't speak for other groups. More black men are in I'm not saying you all are, but more black men are in submissive situations when it comes to being married than are not. That's fact. And a lot of dudes, they do what swirlers do and hide under that. I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm saying that's what a lot of dudes do, and that's something that needs to be talked about more. Also, again, I always say that about 20% of black women operate within the acceptable range of common sense, and even the 80%, there's degrees to the fuckery. So the ones that are like, 25 are not necessarily completely batshit crazy, but it's a sliding scale. So, and shout out to the website blackandmarriedwithkids.com. I'm actually personally, I know you're not speaking to me personally, you're speaking to the manosphere as a whole. So let me talk about this from the manosphere as a whole. My thing is, the greatest power, how dudes go about doing it, there's a conversation to be had there. I personally have said the solution to that problem with different people, Obsidian and different people, I think is that a purple space, pill space gets created, because what happens is a lot of people, they feel like the manosphere was not built around marriage. That's not how the manosphere was built around. So what happens is dudes have this mentality like, okay, they're terraforming folks into the very thing that they see is the result of pain. And it doesn't have to do with necessarily your inability to get women. Like, your ability to get women or not getting women is not necessarily a leading indicator of you getting married. So that's something that gets said all the time. And just like how we can say as dudes that are out here complaining because they're hyper angry, something I've called out when I see it in real time, when dudes try to empty the clip on a female. And by the way, the dudes that do that are a lot of times dudes that's actually showing the women that they're with. Some of, especially the older ones, have done that. But at the end of the day, there's a solution to that problem. But it's more single guys than married guys. As far as the problems, that has nothing to do with people's inability to get women. That has everything to do with not trying to fuck up your finances. And I think that gets mixed into the two. But yeah, if you don't have the problems, you don't have the problems. But it's a lot of problems a lot of dudes cover up. Oh, last thing. Our objective that we try to stand on is to maximize choice. Now, how folks go about doing that can be debated, but by maximizing choice, that helps everybody. If a woman believes that dudes are out here ruthless about their choices, they might appreciate the man that they got that's committed to them more so. Not to say that they're listening to us, but we're talking about the total environment. That is the intent. Now, whether dudes go about it with the nigga shit and all of that, well, yeah, I was complaining about that before, and I complain about that often. I think there needs to be a little bit more civility in how we go about doing stuff, but whatever. But go ahead.
My final 2 points in regards to Goldman Sachs funding the women. I would tell young men, marry up. Marry up. Take a page out of the women's book do what they do.
Talk about
elevate.
financially.
Why not?
No, I'm just being clear.
You know what I'm saying? So it's funny, like men act like they don't have these options as well, or it's like it's beneath them to consider entertaining an idea like that. Marry a woman that's out of your social status, that can elevate you, to put you on a platform where you can use it as a springboard. You know, if it's a business marriage, treat it as such. Max it out to the best of your abilities. Also, my final thing is the optics of the sphere, whether you want to disagree or not, are not very good. It seems like it's a bunch of angry men still mad about what women did to them. Fine. Everybody has a right to be angry and vent, but for how long? The manosphere had the perfect opportunity to become political and actually do some real damage and undo some of this shit that the men keep complaining about. So why wouldn't the guys take the opportunity to get political? You complain about the women being judges, DAs, chief of police. They get political. Why can't the men get political?
Okay, well, I'm economically pro-black as far, so I focus more on the economic side. I think the manosphere should too. A big problem with the political side. As political as men need to get, good at organizing money around politics. Jumping into politics is just a recipe of doing some Derrick Jackson. You're going to be catering to women stuff because they're so deep into it. So the thing that we have to focus on is the money. Now, as far as the politics, if we take the money off of it, my thing is, as far as what black people should do, we're already in the Democratic Party for the most part. We should just primary the shit out of all of the black Democrats, primary them like the Tea Party did and terraform it that way, because that actually is less, that requires less money. Now, if dudes want to be conservative, we do need, well, I'm conservative, but if dudes want to vote Republican, we need to respect that choice and then campaign to give a better solution rather than sitting there and just throwing everybody under the bus. As far as what's effective, I believe that should happen. But ultimately with men, it really starts and finishes with the money. And also it starts and finishes with awareness. This is what I was talking about making the manosphere bigger. And part of making that bigger is accepting the choices that people make. Now, the other part that you said too, is two more points. First point is about the manosphere looks bad. I mean, honestly, that's just going to be the nature of the underground. You know, we're underground. We're not mainstream. The dudes that are breaking out, I'm not saying mediocre tutorials came from the black manosphere as we know it, but the dudes that are breaking out and carrying this message that have a more polished message, the fact that they're able to...
I'm sorry, what message does he have? He does reaction videos. What is that?
He does reaction videos and breaks them down from a red pill's perspective. But he does that... Well, look, I get it. But he does that in a way that's a lot more feasible for, you know, mainstream. But at the end of the day, it does get the job done. All these other people that are breaking out in their variety of ways, that's doing the job. Now, whether dudes want to get mad because they're not getting the money and the credit beyond that, okay, that's on them individually, in which, okay, what you're saying is probably more valid. Do they want to be in a manosphere or not? Or do they want to, you know, break out of the manosphere? I get it either way. Because there's been Jada Black, Darius McTow, there's plenty of dudes that swayed away from the manosphere, and then they definitely blew up. Darius McTow, because he dealt with a bigger audience, aka the white audience. Jada Black has always kind of done his own thing. So there's something to say with that, but at the end of the day, the manosphere is perfectly fine being the size it is and growing at the pace that it is. I mean, the audience, if they have to make a choice between changing or growing fast, they would probably choose to stay the way they are. The other point, as far as dudes being married, having the right to say something, I can understand why people wouldn't accept that opinion. It is what it is. I know my opinion is perfectly informed by dudes that were married, people that their wives died. And I'm not talking about Ulysses. I'm talking about like people that I know. I was informed about marriage by people that are married, but they didn't want to blow up their situations. More than informed by people that were not married. And I will also tell anybody to have conversations with black men that are married. I'll end it with this, and I'll let you have a final word. You know, when we talk about the marriage conversation, there is a whole rainbow of conversations that can be had there. Again, shout out to the website Black and Married with Kids. This talks about married couples by a married couple. It's a bigger website. But I feel like I get it's a pushback against what we say, But the thing about it is, I feel like people put cherries on top when it comes to it. And as far as that's what it takes to build a society, I'm not going to deny that. But at the same time, we need to get a social contract, which is what we're fighting for. And then if people want to get married, they can get married. By the way, SYSBM is not anti-marriage. They're anti-getting married based on the black rules of engagement. So there's a lot of groups in the manosphere that's not necessarily anti-marriage. As far as like the pump and dump stuff and the MGTOW stuff, I mean, that's their choice. But they can also reserve the right to make a different decision when they want to as well. It's not like it's a foregone conclusion no matter what they say. And then I'll leave it at that and let you get the final word on that.
Yeah, my final point is, fine, you don't have to get married. Don't get married. If that's not your cup of tea, that's great. When I say when I say, okay, we'll get with a woman that can boost your social status. Let's take Atlanta for example. There's a bunch of high-powered women that are paying bums to be their men for nothing. You mean to tell me you're gonna snuff the opportunity because you think you're in a submissive position? Because if a woman fucks with you, doesn't matter what your position is, she wants to see you win, and she'll do whatever it takes in her powers to get you to where you need to be. She'll bring you around the right people that you need to gallivant around and get put out there. So it's like these dudes look for every excuse to complain, bitch, and whine. Well, that's not gonna work because you're in a submissive position. Well, then, nigga, you just don't want to win. I don't know what to tell you. Then stay in your misery and wallow in that shit. Die in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't do anybody any good. I'm all about moving forward. I get it. Men have been fucked over. Trust and believe. I'm a witness to it. But at some point, you must put the anger to the side and get on and move on with life and move forward. And if you don't like black women, get your white bitch. You don't like white bitches? Get your Mexican bitch. Get your Asian bitch. You have options. But yet it still seems like motherfuckers just want to complain about black women all goddamn day. Like, I get it. Okay. If that works for y'all, that works for y'all. And I don't mean y'all, but you. But if that's what y'all want to do, sit here and trauma bond and hold hands about how the black woman has hurt you, when there's little Ling is looking at you and you ain't giving her the time of the day, I don't know what to tell you.
I've told dudes that, and I agree with that. Hold on 1 second. Obsidian, I've asked Obsidian point blank, why did he? I'm not saying that you're referring to Obsidian, but I'm saying he said, I choose to deal with black women, and I'm like, okay, well, then you choose that. So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
I would never engage with if I believe a race of women does not have my best interest at hand, I'm not going to waste time and energy complaining about them. I'm going to go over here to the other side, and I'm about to be the best man that I can be with this, and have some cobbling Asian ass kids, and they're going to Harvard. That's how I win at the end. That's how you win.
Yeah. Well, we have been joined by Brother Fantastic. Brother Fantastic, what's good with it, man?
What's going on?
Are you here to challenge Brother Edward?
No, I'm not here to challenge. Actually, I was just wanted to give perspective on the conversation between him and Sly. Actually, like from the point of what they were talking about. So now, me and the Jugger Talk ain't got no beef, man. I mean, I ain't had enough Wheaties today, so I ain't got time to talk to this guy. Yeah, but no, man. What's up, Sly, bro?
Hey, what's going on with you?
You got it. Look, this is what I'm saying, man. Listen, when you give your perspective, I understand it. And I tell you the same thing I tell Ramil, the same thing I tell other motherfuckers, man. Listen, you guys are in unique positions, even within the positions you're from, and you're in positions of advantages, and you guys is like, you guys shit on everybody else, but why can't you just do it like I do it? I mean, bruh, you got 2 wives, 2 of them. I mean, one was more than too many for me. Okay, but and it's like you guys repeat a lot of this rhetoric that we constantly hear. You guys are hurt. You guys are angry. No, bro, I've never been hurt. I've never been angry. Me and my old lady, even though we're in our marriage, it's on good terms. We're, co-parenting. Everything's good. Everything's copacetic. The thing was, though, when I came into the space and I was speaking from, not getting married, the married guy gets marriage, it was for the new dudes. People that's grandfathered in, bro, you already in there. It is what it is. You know how difficult it is. I heard you tell a story about possible divorce and all these things. That shit's no joke.
Yeah, nobody's advocating divorce. I noticed that. Nobody's really saying fuck your marriage if you.
yeah. But that's what I'm just saying. This is one small sliver to it. But like you said, the example you gave for the thing in Atlanta with all the women that are so powerful, this is the thing about it, bro. These women not trying to marry these niggas. That's why these women keep these homosexuals around. They don't marry them. If she broke and he broke, yeah, she'll get it because she's got nothing to lose. She's not got nothing to gain. But those women that these lawyers, these CEOs, these judges, bro, they're not even trying. They, like you said, they renting these niggas out. They're renting them out. Those dudes are dick for the moment. She'll let him drive the car. She might even get him like a little apartment, let him come over, whatever, give him some money to start his record deal. But her image, she's not going to allow her image and her esteem to be brought down by her dealing with a lesser dude. So it's like you're giving a suggestion, but you know it's unrealistic because you know how these black women operate. We talked about the thing you said, the politics aspect. I'm with you, bro. I said the same thing. I'm huge on the politics. I really want to go that route. I want to be one of the people that go the politics route, you know. But then too, can I do that if and when, you know, you're in this space and you got niggas more worried about trying to, you know, embarrass niggas and dox niggas and do all this stupid shit. Like I said, you know, I done had more married niggas talk shit about my marriage during my marriage or try to find out who my old lady was to dox me and expose her. So this is how and why the marriage shit, bro, is just not celebrated in this space regardless. And it's more so even the women are more cutthroat and the married niggas than the people that are the you know, the supporters and shit. Mm-hmm. So it's like you say the one thing and you know all these dudes have these issues and problems with marriage. Like Edward said, man, niggas don't really, you know, come at the married niggas that way. And the ARC, I'll speak on the ARC part because I personally said something about fucking ARC to his face. I got on ARC's ass, shout out to him, respect, and I said this to him, actually, everybody knows and saw me say it. I said, nigga, you went your whole life talking about how all you do is gonna fuck on these bitches and this and the other, you never gonna do this, and your ass waited to 60-year-old to do what? Get married and have a family.
But
nigga,
wait, ain't that what old players do?
But and I understand that, Slime, and that's what I'm trying to tell you, and that's what I'm trying to tell you, though. It's just like divorce, Sly, or it's just like marriage coming to an end. Everybody's in it till it's good, right? Just like I was or whoever it may be. And it's working till it don't. That's the thing about life. That's the thing about progression. That's the thing about age. And that's all we're saying, man. Or I don't say we, I say me. That's all I'm saying, bro. I understand how it can be as you start off in love and working shit out and family, household, all this different shit, you know, learning each other, growing together, all this other shit. But, you know, sometimes shit just don't work out. Two people grow apart, they do different things, they go their separate ways. Same things with niggas that slang dick all their life, right? And niggas slang dick all their life, hey, nigga, sooner or later that dick don't, you know what I'm saying? You got to get them pills and shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't gonna work the same way. You're old, dude, so you don't got that kind of pull you had back in your heyday. You know what I'm saying? A light-skinned nigga in the 80s. You feel me? So, you know, yeah, I hazed him a little bit, or we gave him a little bit of shit. But, man, it was mad people who gave congratulations to ARC, man. When I saw the information on this thing, IG, you know, I gave him all love, respect to him, his wife, his baby, all those things, man. I wish nothing but the best for him. But at the same time, I'm the same nigga that's going to tell you, nigga, don't get up here talking that shit about how great your shit is because, nigga, I know. I've been there. I done that. Shit always can go from sugar to shit any second of the day. And a lot of niggas will do that. Like, nigga, oh, you niggas got these problems because you don't know how to handle the bitch. You don't know how to deal with women. You don't know how to do all this other shit. So that's just the shit. I try to bring the actual fair, real life balance to the shit, bro. That's just my approach.
And I respect to that, and I don't want people to think that I sit here and be like, oh, everything is rose. I done went through the shit, separation and leaving and all. I done been through all that shit, but now we've grown and we're to a point where okay, we understand what's important here, and you know we decide to move forward. So trust me, you know I don't want this thing to end divorce. But I've been, you know, at that brink. So I will never sit here and say, oh, this shit's it's all good, son. No, it's work, and you never know. And I refer to women like Dobermans. They may snap at you. You never know.
Okay, so there is a couple of things I wanted to throw out here. Is shout out to Black Ram 313. He did a video called Starter Marriages, and this is a female that actually wrote a book on this. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna be like that means everything, but this is an idea to where ideas are going to kind of the new generation. When it's because a lot of the argument is too, even though it wasn't mentioned, that we're kind of putting shit out there that would turn people off towards marriage, that other mods would still have it an open page. black men understanding marriage is something, if they really want to do it, they can always go and do it. Not always, but like they can always change their mind. If niggas find the right chick, they gonna be like, damn you, no matter what y'all niggas say. You know, and I've seen that, and that's why I've told dudes, y'all got to stop trying so hard. If a dude is dead set on getting married, your best bet is telling him how to be smart about setting his stuff up. This is why I like when Glenn and Cameron talks about getting your corporate game right as far as how you get your stuff set up, so you can have the ability to enforce whatever deal that you make with your woman. You know, don't get a prenup, don't be bullied, like whatever, vet, because that's part of vetting. But she was talking about like the starter husband. And she was basically, and the thing about it is, and I've talked about this on my video, you have a lot of women and see, here's the thing. I just got to say it, because at the end of the day, whether it's Jason Black, because I've listened to his stuff where he interviews chicks, or it's, you know, Mr. Samuels, it is what it is. People cannot like these people, but you've heard these women answer these questions as they've been given. A lot of the women you're talking about, Super Slide, the 92s that you're talking about, and in theory, what you're saying would work. In theory, what you're saying is more possible with probably non-black women than black women. Because, by the way, and it's probably more work in doing the intercultural dating, which you don't necessarily have to go overseas to do that. You just have to have a focus on where these people are in the United States, if that's what you want to do. In theory, that's more likely to work, what you're saying, work in those two situations than in the ADOS black community. But my point is, when you look at the general pool of marriage, the biggest issue is you have dudes. I don't have a problem with telling dudes the positives, but I want them to have the totality of stuff. And I'm not saying dudes are covering that up, but a lot of times in the conversation that they have with us, they tend to want to push back on that, like they push back on a lot of stuff, because it's not about telling the truth. It's more about kind of push back against the overwhelming negativity that they perceive. Gabe A's in the chat, and Gabe, you know, people have, I get that. But my thing is, a lot of these women don't want to be married. Now, you're talking about, okay, deal with somebody else. Fine, that solves that problem. But I'm just want to keep it in context of black people, because if black people talk about getting married, they want to be in the, they want to generally have a black community. Under those rules, again, these women are playing for fucking keeps. You got about 20% that are good. A lot of them are married up young, especially the ones that got a good mentality and look good. And that is what it is. Get them early. But a lot of these women have complete fucked up situations on marriage, and a lot of dudes are not really aware of, it's not even so much who you get married to, but know what the fuck you dealing with and take the fucking rose-colored glasses on so you don't fuck up. That's I think where we talk about, and then that just comes into that kid shit that really can be minimized, because quite frankly, it gets in the way of the overall point, which is again why I've said I would not mind having a purple pill sphere of dudes that either were married, are married, have an interest in marriage, and then even if you have some red pill people come over there, and then you're having an entire full spectrum of conversation of the good, the bad, the ugly. Because we got Black Huru Strikes, Kevin from the not the T.P.O.T show, from the Habitual Line Severs, obviously fantastic. We've got people that are married, Bernard, are married, were married. It's not like bachelors, and I think that debate would be a healthy debate and would help black men. You know, even if they change their mind, they go about it in much more of a practical context.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I would tell any young man, yes, there's a pros and cons to this marriage thing. If it goes left, it could go left for you and end very badly for you. Certain things you could protect yourself, like establishing an irrevocable trust, asset protection. I mean, you have, you know, insulators you could use. Is anything perfect? No, because at the end of the day, the judge gonna do what the judge wants to do. Research the marriage laws in your state. Talk to your mate about possible private marriage contracts. I mean, I get it. It's pretty much doom and gloom because the numbers speak for themselves, but yet you still are going to have men that are going to want to get married, period, point blank. Yeah. And you're not, you know what I'm saying? We can cast the biggest cloud over marriage, and yet the numbers are horrible, abysmal. But at the end of the day, people are still making babies. We're in a pandemic.
So hold on. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No.
Oh yeah, BMT. Yeah, BMT. Because you said something as far as the pushing people to get. You said people were pushing people to get divorced. So I want to hear that because that goes into what Sly was talking about.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second, brother BMT. Are you here to challenge brother Edward? Are you here to challenge brother Edward?
I mean, I can do the challenge if I have to about the
manosphere. I'm asking
Yeah,
you, are you here to challenge him?
Yeah, I can do it. Manosphere is anti-marriage. It's anti-family, and yeah, I can do that.
I'll drop off.
I can do that.
No, you don't. You don't have to. I just want to know if whether or not I got my timekeeper up here to, put the clock up or not. And but you got to leave soon, right? Okay. Timekeeper, can I get the clock, please, sir? Because I don't like having my timekeeper up here. Just got him up here twiddling his thumbs and shit.
Yeah, I started falling asleep for a second. I'm back though.
All right. Man. We're gonna do this short, right? We only do 2 rounds. It's a 20-minute debate, a quick one, 5, 5, 5, and 5. That's how we do it. All right. So who's the against? Who's the for? That's all I need to know.
I mean, I'm pro. My statement is the manosphere is not so much anti-family as they are pro-choice.
Okay. Sounds like Brother BMT is going first. Brother BMT, you ready?
So I have to defend that the manosphere is.
You got to make the case that the manosphere is more anti-family than pro-choice. I'm saying the manosphere is more pro-choice than anti-family.
Okay. All right. Let me make sure I just simplify that down for me. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Timekeeper. 5 minutes on the clock. Brother BMT, you're up, sir. Pull the trigger.
So pretty much I'm up here to have to spell out what we already know. The doom and gloom for the 10 years that we have seen the manosphere born into fruition. And we've heard from the three founders, actually one of the main ones, Obsidian, said out his own mouth that this is not a family-made space. This is not a family-made space. I find this very interesting because this is supposed to be a space where men are supposed to come together and build legacy, build business, build community, and build values. The founding blocks of success in empires, or the strongest empires, are built on family. They're built on pretty much that of a man and a woman building a whole dynasty. But when you come around here, it is actually the exact polar opposite. We've heard men talk about stuff about dating or getting young women when they're young, about different types of lucrative behavior, about pump and dumping. Same thing from the women. Also about there's no pushback, there's no lobbying, as well as the talking points of shaming or burning down or destruction of the community with that of attacking men who are in families. This space is definitely detrimentally poisoned towards that of the Black family. It hasn't done anything. We can easily pull out those of young men that have been slumping around in this space, looking at their mentality, all the way to those of other men that have been in this space that have literally blown their brains out, just sitting in here not getting the proper medical or clinical guidance or help. This space has not done a damn thing to help edify or build Black men. We have not seen not one lobbying bill, not one lobbying PAC, not one lawyer, not one Black man pushed through school, or literally any Black man edified and built up and said, hey guys, like, y'all want to come to my wedding? Half the time, most Black men don't even show their wedding pictures or their family pictures or even bring their spouses on like that, because they know that is literally a liability to get attacked. This is the wrong place. If any place could bring a child around. I mean, literally, I've had it where people have said some pretty egregious shit. People are starved for femininity, where if they hear a feminine voice, they don't even know what the hell is on the other side. They literally say, wow, that's the dominant perception of femininity. When literally you ask about, well, what is it about that of dealing with a woman? I ain't even talking about just dealing with a Black woman, just dealing with a woman. They found more gratification out of dealing with sexual toys or objects and say, well, is better than having to deal with a woman. We can definitely tell that there's a lot of broken home pieces in this space. When we talk about that of lobbying packs, of literally taking money to actually put together to actually try to get things passed, or literally actually work together towards men getting jobs or stuff like that. That's the least considered thing. But let it be something about talking about some dumb shit on like women, or something about like worrying about what the next broad or dude or some kind of lowbrow talking point is going to do. They're all game for that. And I mean, we don't have to say, oh, I hope people ain't slow for that, but literally, this is not a conducive space toward building up a family. They worry more so about the choice of that of a woman, when we understand that men make the law, men make the rules. Like, ain't no goddamn woman running no damn man. Like, I mean, honestly, what woman's running your wallet right now when you super chat? No woman's controlling your wallet. That's you controlling your wallet. But we see a lot of these dudes when we finally get a peek of them, their lifestyles are dismal or fucked up, or literally, unless they're part of some type of group, military, religion, or unless they're dealing with some person that can actually pick them up, this space has done yet anything to edify or build up the black men. We've seen these with panels where that deal with actual education, or stuff that deal with STEM. We've actually already done. We've already did panels, marital panels. Those are the least watched panels. We just did one. Shout out to the brothers that were there for the marriage panel. And when we had the talk, we literally all were in unison about how people look about and deal or actually shun the talking points of marriage. But then let it be, we actually did a same talking point about child support, or women ain't shit, men will show up in droves, because that is the hottest topic. You're next.
All right. All right. That's time. 5 minutes on the clock. Timekeeper. Brother Edward, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
This nigga threw the kitchen sink and emptied the fucking clip. Okay. Okay. All right. There's a lot of shit you threw out to me. First of all, and I'm gonna take a couple of seconds to say that thing about what happened with a couple of people, that's a low blow. That really is. But okay. I'm kind of taken aback. But all right, let's jump right in here and set in gear. Because this is, me and Superside are able to be reasonable, but I see this is where you're going. All right, so here's the thing. The manosphere is not a family-made space. I'm not going to disagree with that. It wasn't made for it to be family-made space. Just like the manosphere is built on, has SYSBM elements on it, which SYSBM is not anti-family. It's more operating within the construct of the black, current social order. They definitely talk about getting married. Igmore and MGTOW are the premier groups in the dating stuff, and even dating leads to marriage, but that's the premier thing when it comes against marriage. But whatever. Here's the thing. When it comes to, there are plenty of dudes in this space that are married. People that are on panels and people that have channels. There are plenty of dudes that have kids and grandkids and deal with the women that they're dealing with in cohabitative relationships. So the idea that we're just hunting everybody as married, that's complete bullshit. I call complete bullshit on that. Now, you using evidence as to you having a panel when it comes to, you having a marriage panel in which you're just now starting off, and then because people are not coming to it, that's pseudo logic right there. That doesn't mean anything. That could be you. That could be what it is. Let me go down to stuff that I wrote down because I don't have a lot of time. As far as there's no pushback lobby, there is a pushback lobby. You got Gabe A, you got you had Gab, you have plenty of people that always push back. That's what makes them plenty of very great shows and topics. So there is a pushback lobby. So that's actually false. As far as attacking men that are family men, I could cite Black Hulu Strikes. I could cite plenty of black men that do have families that would say that that's not what's happening. But when they use that as a mechanism to say, I'm better than you, and when I say I don't have these problems, therefore these problems don't exist, that is responded to just like if you say, well, the black community has an economic problem. Well, I'm a millionaire, so that must mean the black community doesn't have a problem. Not even saying you, but saying the community as a whole, that gets pushed back on. And that's where that comes from. Young men are slumping around in this place in their mentality. Here's my thing. You got to be 18 years old in order to listen to what we say. Bringing children and bringing women to listen to what we say, that's a choice. It's not made for kids. As far as young men, we talk from our experiences, and people get that totality. And we cannot control the litany of channels that people are listening to. There are clearly certain channels I would tell people not to listen to, and there's clearly other channels I tell them would. I generally give those recommendations. So that's on them, and that's on the YouTube algorithm. Man, I ain't even go that way, because that's really what really kind of pissed me off. There's a wrong child, made 18 years old, femininity in their voice. Some of the dudes that empty the clip the most on women got women, and they've demonstrated to have women. So whatever with that. Dealing with sex toys. The sex doll thing is not established doctrine in manosphere. To even mention that in the black manosphere is no, that's conjecture. We don't work. This is the biggest one I'll spend the rest of my time on. We don't work on jobs and stuff like this. This is something I've heard Mr. Research say. Here's the thing. The manosphere is a collection of channels with niggas with opinions. People listen to what they get out of it. A lot of what people listen to is driven by what the audience wants to hear, because dudes are trying to get subscribers, dudes are trying to get views. The manosphere is not a think tank. We don't ask people for money under the perception we're a think tank. I'm not going to mention people that do that. We don't create situations where we ask people for money in order to produce documentation. People give money based on our opinions, just like a church or anything else. So the reality is, as far as people getting help, that's not true. I wish Fantastic was back up, because he's demonstrated that we're willing to do that. That's not on the manosphere. You know, we're not this thing that we're supposed to give this cookie cake, happy rainbow stuff. You know, we're always, if somebody will tell me and say this is what they're actually thinking, then we're going to tell them where to go to get the proper help. But this idea that it's my job to worry about everybody out there, that's just completely bullshit. And the manosphere was never built on that. What I would say anybody in this last 7 seconds is this: build the space you want to see, but don't worry about what we're doing. Build something better. Just like when I decided to talk about the Gynocracy.
All right, that's going to be time, and this is going to be the final round. 5 minutes on the clock, timekeeper. Brother BMT, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
Psycho, Candy, Jalen, and Azir. 3 young men. I'm not sure if you ever heard of them, but actually they have been in this space for approximately over 10 years. That is actually the approximate age of this manosphere. Actually, before they were actually a black manosphere, because actually the manosphere. And actually in the time of that, they actually listened to older black manosphere content creators. And actually we can tell by the mentality, the psychological depth of their mind state, they're all fucked up. Now, looking at that, you also asked about the point of bringing up about the marital panel. Actually, I've done 3 of them. I've actually done 4 children's panel, and I've actually done 2 father panels. And all those panels that I've done, literally, we have actually put it out there towards other men in the space, and literally, they all said, listen, man, that's not a hot topic. We've also done one talking about black schools, about trying to revive that of a black school for all boys. You know what happened when I sent it out there to those fucking dating coaches that men so much aspire to? They said, you know what? Not my problem. That's so crazy. You care so much about black men, the edification of black men, but it's so funny because the talking point in this space is we're trying to build better black men. You have so much of a problem with the motherfucking goddamn, the B1 guy. But then, if we're talking about the educated lane looking out, or the gay go to STEM, or, you know what I'm saying, that we're looking for smarter men to be better men, I would think, like, goddamn, we would be actually pooling our money into building better systems, or actually making a better way that actually black men would have to go through, rather than have to deal with the urban bully. Shout out to George Macon, goddamn urban nerds. So it's interesting when we say, hey, this is more so, I gotta be for real, it's more so of entertainment. Shout out to O'Shea whenever he does, the panel, the Hall of Game. And he even quoted as it amazes me when I do educational panels with the tech guys. And mind you, Look at the tech guys' watch time. You look at their views and their counts when they're not on O'Shea. They have the lowest view. Mind you, these guys are in charge of stocks, companies, and different other stuff, polarizing things that actually are leading the way, not with black people, but with other cultures and other people. Black people literally don't watch them or don't fuck with them. But let it be something about how to get your dick wet, how to deal with that ain't shit broad, that baby mama. I can promise you right now, everybody got that damn story about that broad in the back of the pickup truck. And it so much blows my mind, but I'm like, damn, okay, so I'll give you that. I'm not telling you to have to go deal with black women. I'm telling you, go deal with any woman or deal with anybody you want. Better yet, let's kick it off towards lobbying, right? Since we all like to talk about money and everybody likes to talk about being that high value type of man. So when it comes towards that of unifying and actually working together, how much money has literally flowed through the manosphere in 1 year? Over $500,000. I won't tell you where to go find it, but you can definitely go find it. It's actually pretty interesting. There's actually some studies actually done on this place by people that are not part of the manosphere. I tell you, you are being watched. I mean, shout out to goddamn D. Darrell when he brought it up. But the thing that's crazy about it is when the white space or the white manosphere had hit on hard times, they bounced into the black manosphere, used the same talking points, and reverbed it right back into the white manosphere to re-jumpstart back their shit. Now, when it came to the black manosphere, right, this is how the black manosphere thought it out. Well, fuck the community, fuck these hoes. We need to go get money. But I'm like, well, damn, okay, we're gonna go get money. So let's talk about pooling some money, or let's talk about working some shit out together. What we saw was more doxing, attacking of families, people's job clearances put at risk, different other bullshit, or literally threats of I'm going to kill you, or different other stuff going on. I was like, well, damn, these are some goddamn, as Obsidian would say, apes. Because when we saw that, literally, what conducive person would bring a child around a bunch of people that because you have a difference of opinion, and I've seen it myself with Edward himself, because you have a difference of opinion, they literally attack you. We talk about that there's a unification, but literally I've seen more so slander of attacks on people just because they talk about that of building. Now we can name off the groups of whatever, but we already know that there's cliques amongst the space that literally, when it comes to talking about actually building, it's so more so of towards the MGTOW model. And I understand that about men going their own way. But when it talks about that of building, and I listen to the talk about dealing with women, you said 20% are worth working with. I was asking, like, well, how did you get that number? Like, how did you find that out? Go ahead.
All right, that's gonna be time. 5 minutes on the clock. Timekeeper, Brother Edward, you are up, sir. Pull the trigger.
All right, to start from the last point, that number is derived from the 80% of divorces that are activated by women within the select group of women that actually choose to be married, but whatever. Anyway, here's the thing. Your issue, you're taking like everything and laying at the doorstep of the manosphere. That's really what you're doing. The problem is not with the manosphere. You have a problem with black people. That because a lot of what you're talking about, that is a reflection of black people as a whole in the United States of America, not the manosphere per se. And then you're taking all this stuff, and then it's like, because the manosphere is the thing that you're probably close to the most, the fact that you're not getting what you think you should get out of it is where all of this kind of, stuff is coming from. Here's the thing. The black manosphere is a variety of different things. There are certain channels I listen to, and I get what I get. And those channels I promote on my page. Some of them are black manosphere, some of them are not. That's what I do. And those are the people that I get the most of. Even some people that get on my nerves, like Jason Black, would get on my fucking nerves. But as far as and he's talked a lot of quote unquote shit about the manosphere. But the point is, the information that he gives, the insight he gives is good. Glennon Cameron, Erica Shauna Williams. I can control what I do. And I've promoted what I think should happen. But I'm not one of the heavy hitters of the black manosphere. I'm not even going to say I'm a thought leader. I'm somebody that says interesting things that people say, you know what, that's a point that I may take on or something, or it bears repeating. But I'm not one of the controllers of this. So for me to be like the representative of that, but whatever, I'll be that. As far as the father panels, you having a panel is not reflective of the how well it would do. Just like me having a panel on something is not necessarily a true reflection of what it would do. But yes, business, things that are productive get lower numbers, but that's true in no matter what sphere you deal with. Entertainment is always going to win out because that's what drives a lot of eyeballs on YouTube in the first place. That's not something with Black people. That's just that's the marketing behind it. But like I said, you can grow a purple pill space out when it comes to family and stuff like that. As far as the dating culture is not part of the manosphere, and they have said such. So using them as a weapon against us, that's bullshit. I'm not even addressing that. I went on to brain trust is in the manosphere, and there are plenty of people that talk about these things. You got Male Enlightenment talking more about Bitcoin, even though he did say he was sliding away from the manosphere. I'm not gonna act like he didn't say that. Then you got Thai City, Bitcoin. You have people talk about these things. A lot of your issues is with the audience and what they want to see. And I've told people on my channel, and I've told people on other people's channels, a lot of what you're complaining about is because the audience ain't shit. And I say, if some person's doing some BS, the fact that every time the BS is around, there you are. And I've seen this on chats and stuff like that. When I say you are, I mean like the audience. The content creators are going to drive what the audience wants. So that's on the audience, not on the manosphere as itself. And the solution to that is to do what Donovan did, is segment the audience and get another audience, which is what goes back to this blue pill space. A lot of people have a problem where they want to terraform the manosphere to be what they want it to be, then get mad when it's not. It's entertainment, so is all of YouTube. That was what we talked about with the gifted curse of social media and the values that we bring to it. It's the same thing with hip hop. I can listen to hip hop, and then I can look at what Rick Ross is doing as a metaphor for just motivation to get money. But I get money the way I get money, and I don't care when people find out he's a prison guard. Niggas listen to that like that's religion, and then they find that out, they're hurt. It's what you bring into it. I'd have to do a whole nother thing about the suicide and the psycho candy. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna leave the as far as the $500,000 ain't no money. And when I say no money, to be doing some collective shit like what you're talking about, I'll leave the last 40 to all these dudes that I don't know who they are, but the greater point is the 10 years. You say they've listened to the manosphere and they're fucked up. Well, what channels have they listened to? Have they listened to BGS Igmore and they're fucked up? Black Ram and they're fucked up? Because I told you, I told Prophet first. I'm economically pro-black, which is why I listen to Jason Black and Dr. Claude Anderson, BGS. If you listen to the motherfuckers that I listen to, they wouldn't come up fucked up. So whatever sector of the manosphere that they listen to, well, that's not the entire manosphere. All right.
Where we at right now?
I
What
mean,
portion
that's
are we
it.
in right now?
That was the last one, I think. But
over.
I guess y'all could talk until
it's up to the
come back.
Yeah, it's up to the people.
Debate's
there
over.
You go.
Debate's over.
Let me do back and forth.
No, it's quick. We doing 20 minutes, 5 and 5, 5 and 5.
I mean, we can do that after they vote, but it's the voting.
All right. So
we're going to the polls. We're going to the polls.
Now
Hold on.
I'm in overtime, but
Hold
I'll
on.
talk about this.
If you believe Brother BMT won this debate, put a B in the chat. If you believe Brother Edward won the debate, put an E in the chat. Do not vote twice. If you do, my moderators will block you.
Yeah. Okay. Glad we got through that part. We already knew.
It's looking like Brother Edward.
Yeah, I already knew that. Listen.
Looking like Brother Edward.
I ain't come here to win. I came here just to put out the points.
Now, it's looking like Brother Edward. We're gonna go ahead and call it for Brother Edward.
All right. So are we going to? Is there another debate, or are we going to have the conversation?
No, we can have a conversation.
That's up to Brother Edward. That's up to Brother Edward. Hold on a second. Brother Big J is up here. Brother Big J, are you up here?
Oh, damn.
Are you up here to challenge Brother Edward?
Now,
no, the challenges are closed anyway because it's 11:30.
No,
but I would say
I got two questions then for you, Edward. I got two questions for you, Edward. What has black men and black boys benefit from the black ministry? Can you explain that?
Okay, first of all, our audience isn't black boys. So no, I'm not even going to answer that question because that's not our audience. We don't like when I look at my channel and I look at the people that listen to me, it like 17 and under is non-existent. It's like 0.5%. So that's my stuff. So as far as black men, yes, that's up to you to ask the audience. You ask black men that question. It's not up to me to say that. Like,
wait a minute. I didn't ask black men. I asked you, Edward. How about instead of you moving the goalposts, how about you answer the damn question though? I'm gonna ask the question again.
First of all,
what has black men
JX, understand something. These are my fucking rules, and I'll answer what the fuck I want to answer.
Okay, Negro. Well, let me ask you something.
Because I outlined it. I outlined it before. It's very well known you don't like me, and me and Super Sly, yes, and me and Super Sly has our differences too. But we're able to talk. I'm not gonna say talk like men belittle you, but dude, I said straight up that nigga shit ain't coming in here. And I'm on overtime.
Okay, look.
You could have came in here 2 hours earlier.
Hold on. You know what's embarrassing? What's so embarrassing is that you got white women on YouTube from the quote-unquote white manosphere have created organizations to bail out black men out. Now, should you be
I got 37 subscribers.
I'm talking.
You got one more.
I'm talking. Shouldn't that be an embarrassment to you? Because Diana Davidson, nigga, bailed out black men out. Her
remember what you said,
nigga.
It's up. Hold on.
Are so dumb. All y'all do talk.
All right.
Not in overtime.
Now,
if you would have did that earlier in the thing.
When we started this thing, y'all don't understand how these challenges work. When a person comes up here for a challenge, guess what? They get to make the rules. So one of the rules was no nigga shit. That's what Brother Edward said. So guess what? No nigga shit. If you want to come up here and have a nigga shit challenge, you come on up here and you say, X, I want nigga shit on my challenge. And guess what? I will allow it. It's your challenge. You make the rules. That's how it goes.
Man,
I don't have a problem answering hard questions. I complain about the manosphere and on my stuff all the time as far as what we should do and where we should go. But what I also understand is the audience, it's up to the audience. And the problem is if y'all want stuff to do stuff different, then you're going to have to set the platform up and then segment the audience out. That's why I said I'm all for creating micro sectors to address some of the concerns. And this is why I've often said, I'm glad Nick is up here because, you got motherfuckers asking me personal questions when I'm up on other people's platforms, and I'm saying very nicely over some debate shit. I know Nick knows what I'm referring to. So, and that's not Big JX. But my thing is, look, I can't speak. I got 3,700 subscribers. I probably got a couple of, at least two of y'all got way more subscribers than I do. And probably, and my point to saying that is because I know Super Sly and Nick, y'all do a lot of collabs, and there's a certain audience that likes to see those collabs, irregardless of what other people say about any one of y'all. And there's been some stuff like on the passport shit that I have not liked being said. My point is the audience picks. That's not my problem. And the problem is a lot of black men have this mentality that if I just take down the manosphere, everything will be fixed. Understand something. The manosphere is only a reflection of what people want to hear. And I'm not justifying everything the manosphere does because I think there's more of a productive, efficient way of doing it. By the way, a lot of these guys are blowing up. Take Kevin off the table. Mediocre tutorial reviews, O'Shea, Well, shit, David Carroll's got 40,000 subs, and Lord knows what he says. It shows that there is another audience. Black YouTube is very vast and very wide. I think people forget that. The manosphere is a small sliver section of the manosphere. There's YouTubers that deal with a black audience that touch like 500,000 subscribers in different sectors. My thing is that at the end of the day, dudes got to stop trying to have this mentality of like, oh, well, I'm going to start beefing with people and beat people up as like people are going to start listening to you just because you do that, because you have a better point. That's not really what's going to really change the stuff in the way that y'all want to change it. A lot of y'all going to have to build y'all shit and then get your audience. And a lot of y'all got bigger audience than me. I don't think the Gynocracy should be a much bigger talking point than what it is. But I will say I am pleased about the fact that it is talked about in the lexicon a lot more than it was. When I first started railing against it, you think the Gynocracy the only fucking bullshit I want to talk about? See, here's the irony that I don't talk about. There's sectors in the black YouTube that people don't talk about where I can show you plenty of black people. In fact, what Super Sly said about the dudes marrying up, they may not be marrying up, but there's sectors where I know black women make more than black men in those sectors. And that dude may be like a mortgage broker, and he makes his own money, but because his woman got into marketing or affiliate, they make a lot more, but they do it as a family. I can show you plenty of groups like that. I can show you people that I know like that. Is that the average? Is that the average solution? No, but is it a solution? Yeah. But that's more in the category of a custom solution. But this thing about I need to lay the feet at the whole black manosphere, well, you got controllers for that. That's a question for O'Shea. That's a question for Angry Man. That's a question for Obsidian. That's a question for Black Ram more. But I think people have gotten more out of it than a lot of the negativity y'all are talking about. I'll stay for another like 35 minutes as respect to y'all being on the panel, because I'm not, no niggas gonna say I ran away, especially after Big J. Like I said, I talked to Big JX, but like him coming at me like I'm the manosphere. I got 3,700 subs.
Well, he's still in the green room.
Well, he talked like he got some sense, but asking me about what the manosphere is, I mean, that I don't make them like the fuck.
And what's good, brother Taylor, sitting up there? What's good with it, brother Taylor?
What's going on, brother X?
What's going on, man?
You got the best hand, and Edward, you and I agree with. I'm saying this for the world. What I know what Edward is talking about on the personal thing. There is no way I would have answered that question on a live stream either, Edward.
Yeah.
There is no freaking way.
So, brother Big J,
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna bring you back up here, man. But if you come up here with that bullshit, it's over. All right. You're back in.
I'm gonna ask this question one more again. Do you find it embarrassing that you got white women in the white manosphere creating organizations to bail black men out of false rape charges, just like the Lighthouse Project that Diana Davidson has created? Wouldn't you see that as an embarrassment, Edward?
No.
Really?
They're doing what they need to do to basically lay the groundwork in case they need to bail out to higher tier men in other groups. They're doing what they're doing is smart. That's how white women are. But that's not an embarrassment, no.
So by your logic, you're putting white men and Asian men, Hispanic men over you.
No.
By your logic, what you just sat there and said, Edward, you just put white men above.
I'm sorry. What logic is that?
No, because the reason why I'm saying it is because that should be black men's job to help other black men out. Though.
There are black advocacy groups that help get wrongly convicted black men out. It's more prominent with white women for whatever reason the case may be. My brother's worked on a few cases. So let's not act like there's not black law firms out here doing the work.
I'm not talking about black law firms. So I'm really ain't talking to you. I'm really gearing to Edward, because Edward was the one who was who has a problem, and then BMT shout out to you.
The black manosphere is not advocating that you like. It's not like the black manosphere. We may have our criticisms of the institutions that control black society, the black church being one of them. All of the political groups like the National Action Network and the Color Coalition. But the manosphere has never said that we are an alternative to those groups.
Wait a minute. I want to clear something up with you, Edward. First of all, Edward, you come from 2.0. I come from 1.0. I came here on this manosphere shit way before you. And 1.0 was actually doing things.
I was around.
Seemed to me that y'all in the black manosphere 2.0, all y'all do is complain about women all goddamn day.
You're talking to a master chief in 2.0. Why don't you talk to a general? Why don't you talk to a lieutenant? You're talking to somebody no, I get that I'm here, and yeah, I'll serve as an ambassador for 2.0, but I was here before too. Solon Black read me into the manosphere, and I was around Blog Talk. I was just a listener. I actually come from more of the passport space vis-a-vis Charles Tyler. So before BGS, a lot of people just know me when I started talking in space BGS. But I'll speak for the manosphere if that's what you want to lay on my feet. But the reality is, hold on, I'm gonna say this about 1.0. Look, I got respect for 1.0, but at the end of the day, man, I hate to say this, 2.0 don't owe you a goddamn thing. And I would say this to Solon Black too, because 2.0 is built on the ashes of 1.0. 2.0 is not built on the pillars of 1.0. You all are the ones that built a lot of these bitches that we got to deal with today. That's not. And so when everybody always talks about, if you want to hold the locket for all of 1.0, whenever dudes always like to talk about all these Chrissies and all these, Cynthia G is a product actually of Tariq Nasheed and Boyce Watkins, to be honest with you. It was, so that's another thing that we deal with, the TKOs. That's built on what y'all did. That's not built on really what we did. Now, sure, we maintained it and we gave them extra batteries when they already got knocked out. 1.0 got to hold that. But their origin is from y'all debating these people under the idea of we're in it together. Now, my thing is not about saying you need to be pro-family or anti-family. My thing is about clear. I believe the reason why I say that 80-20 thing, because I know BMT asked that question. I believe in overprotecting women that are on our team, irregardless of looks. And obviously get with women that you want to be with, but overprotecting women that are on our team, and basically completely removing any kind of protection from women that are not on our team as a mechanism of basically creating a gravitational pull where it's better to be on our team than to not be on our team, which is why I advocate choice. This is also why I advocate, if you see some of these women starting to talk now, a big reason why women wouldn't talk like they would, like newer YouTube channels of women actually kind of being more in the middle, which actually leads credence to stuff that Superslide says and BMT says, is because now they feel like, and this may be a thing with Kevin or people getting bigger, they feel like it's enough, and I'm not going to say the whole manosphere, but there's enough out there that they're not going to get completely attacked. So this idea that didn't happen in 1.0. That's because of 2.0. And I'm not going to act like I'm the one that pushed it. I have my little contributions. I'm not going to act like I'm the one that did, but at the same time, man, that fucking 2.0, 1.0 shit is for the birds. But go ahead, have your thoughts.
You're being disingenuous with your argument, because Chrissy, the argument with Chrissy was what Obsidian had done to her. So for what you just, that was back in 2016. So therefore you're lying right there.
I'm not lying. I didn't say the issue. Chrissy was always Chrissy, even when she used to listen to Jason Black. She just covered this shit up. Chrissy getting to the point as to where she is now, her foundational start, which gave her the momentum to create the shit she has now, is 1.0, not 2.0. Yeah, Obsidian pissed her off, but the reality is she wouldn't be pro-black male. She wouldn't be a fucking Danica Marie if Obsidian wouldn't have did that. And that's between her and Obsidian. The idea that you'll make one black man accountable for why you hate all black men, well, that just proved the point about Chrissy. Whatever.
So hang on. So I'm just like I said. First off, I don't want y'all to think that. I don't want y'all to think that I was coming at Edward. I go. I don't
No,
do that
that's
right.
why I addressed you. I addressed what you said, you know, in the
Right.
debate, because I get it.
But it's a debate. It's a debate. So when I go into debate mode, I just debate. But the thing about it is, I don't. Like I said, I listen. I got my sin to carry since the brother pill shit. Like for a lot of us, when we originally used to be on the Sunday Rumble, it was just whatever silver age of us talking about different stuff that we could connect and actually pass on information via Google Hangout. Whatever. I don't know when did we hit into the dark ages
Sunday
where
Rumble is a small part of the manosphere, but go
no,
ahead.
no, no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that was where it was like a connecting hub. There were other places where we were connecting on. Ram. I met different brothers on different stuff. Nick, shout out to Nick, and different other times in Sly. Like we met on different other stuff. But the thing about it was something where we were talking about doing forward thinking stuff. However, it definitely diversified and changed. There was a lot of stuff I think we should have pushed back on, regardless of which. Like some, we had a lot of questionable things of people coming in. I know a lot of people say, "Well, what are you supposed to do about that?" I don't know, man. If a dude's a pedophile, I'm not entertaining no pedophile on my panel. Y'all can look at me and too crazy if you want, but we ain't gonna play games. There have been questionable people that have come around this space that when we saw things going asunder, we should have just cut the arm off and just say, hey,
Okay, well, anybody that had the ability to do that is not here. Ain't nobody never come in my orbit or me promote that was like that. But as far, and I don't think is anybody around here. But that's kind of got to, and again, it's about influence. See, I get what you're saying, but the thing is, it's like I have to, no, I get it. I'm just want to say this. I'll let you finish your point. I have to address the people that have influence as if I got any, not necessarily I got any control, but I mean, they do what they do. And I mean, I'm not saying if I look, here's the thing with O'Shea. Look, I fuck with O'Shea. I fuck with BGS. Those are the people. And Jason Black used to be somebody I really, really fuck with. But guess what? Jason Black's throwing shot of spear on some bullshit, and I'm calling that bullshit out. I'm calling the fact out that I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, you saying everybody in the spear is fucked up, but at the end of the day, you ain't married to nobody, and you ain't married to black women, and you ain't got kids. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're living a MGTOW bachelor lifestyle, if by de facto. People see that, you know, irregardless of what they want to believe. So now, granted, it's a lot of people that are with black people that follow him, and I know he gives good content. See, I can separate the content from the assholishness of what people do. When you look at people like O'Shea is really, I think, done a good job at least trying to represent what he's wanted to represent overall. As far as I think BGS has too. As far as an angry man as a controller, it's like I gotta address the influencers. And now Obsidian, I mean, look, I was on Obsidian shit. I didn't agree. I didn't go along to get along with him. When I disagreed, I fucking disagreed. And he sometimes try to throw hammers at me to try to look. I fuck with Obsidian, but try to bully me into agreeing with him, and I push back. So again, some of y'all stuff I hear, but at the end of the day, man, my thing is gonna be, what the fuck y'all gonna do about it? Look, I'm gonna say this: Super Saiyan has like 40,000 people to listen to him. Last time I checked, he was like at 15. If y'all really want that, y'all got to grow y'all fucking influences. Y'all gonna have to do that. Like hollering at what we do in black, that's not gonna move black people. And I'm gonna tell you, somebody that's got 3,700 subscribers, I think I'm more writer than all y'all niggas a lot of times. But I would sound like a fucking hater if I was sitting there like, man, fuck that. To one nigga worship Satan, or one nigga think it's a Netherman. Why the fuck y'all listen to him? Shit, I think RBR got more subscribers than I do. But you don't never hear me say that because that's what the audience choose. I have to go get my audience. And I'm not even saying that to be a low blow. I know there's people that are for that. And I don't believe in trying to throw that out there. Oh God, don't get me started. Oh God, I just had a fucking relapse to that fucking Lil Nas X. That shit pisses me off. I can't even speak on that. I'm just saying, like, even me saying that. But my point is, you know, people have a right to carve out their audience, you know, or whatever they want to do. And it's like y'all trying to blame us for people choosing people. I don't know what to say to that.
I don't think nobody.
Here's a problem. Here's a problem.
Nobody. See. I think no. Fuck that. I know that you trying to pass the buck on. This is about responsibility at work. This is not about
you listen to the manosphere at your own risk. Expect nothing from the manosphere.
You are trying to pass the buck. You're trying to pass the buck.
I'm not trying to pass the buck
for
listeners.
Shit. You're trying to pass the buck on the listeners rather than look at things from doing some in perspective and some reform. You got to do some in perspectives, and that's where I'm coming from. Why you want to put everything on the listeners?
Because it is their. Hold on, you want to know the truth, Big X? Because it is their fucking fault. And again, I'm not saying, hold on, I'm not saying this in a bad way, like, oh, if you listen to something that I disagree with, that's on you. What I'm saying is they choose to listen to what they choose to listen to. Like, we got people that are big that motherfuckers don't like. And that's why I've always had this thing where I can separate people that they had an issue with people for different reasons. So I don't always blanket stuff as hating because I get it. And whether I agree with those reasons or not, I get it. But what I'm saying is the listeners are people choose as the individual level. You choose to get out of this thing what you choose to get into it. I'm a big believer in what you choose to take in is on you. And people tend to find the values that they want to represent themselves. You got people that believe in the flat earth theory. You got people that believe in a lot of shit that I don't believe in, but there's a market for that. That's on them. And I'm a marketer by trade. So I uniquely understand I'm not saying I understand more than y'all and y'all can't understand. I get it. But I look at audiences and I know if there's a certain audience I want, I know what can reflect to that. In this space, this is an audience of black men and I reflect what I choose to reflect in that segmentation. But the thing about it is ultimately people are responsible for what they listen to. Understand, if somebody would have bring like that suicide stuff y'all talk about, if somebody would have bring that to us and we knew that was a serious thing with anybody, we will make sure they do what they need to do. We've had people say crazy. I remember it was a guy by the name Joe. Some of y'all may know Joe. I know Fantastic knows Joe. And I remember when Joe was talking about he was having fantasies about harming, and he said this on public waves on BGSC. He was having fantasies about harming I guess the dude that his mother was dealing with, because when he was young, when he was 18 years old, this is the origin why he had to move out. He I mean, I'm not gonna say he's a mama's boy, but he loved his mom like we all do. And his the dude that she was with would not treat her right. And it was something where it got physical, and then he being male instinct protected his mother. You know what his mother did? His mother called the cops on him. And that's when he said, the hell with it, he leaving. Now, he doesn't hate his mother or anything, but that's what it is. Now, what we told him, I personally told him, I said, I'm not saying to not love your mother. I'm saying you need to look at your mother like a human being. But at the same time, if your mother calls you about him, that in my opinion, that conversation needs to go one way. Are you calling me to tell me you leaving him and you want me to get him and make him go? Or are you calling me to be a tampon? Because if you're calling me to be a tampon about what he did, we're not having that conversation. You have no right to have that conversation with me after what you did. That's what I would have did if that was in my situation. But my point is, he was talking about, yeah, man, because I have dreams about harming that dude. And we all, and Angry Man was on here too, we all collectively said no. And they said at the end of the day, that's who your mom chose. And at the end of the day, you want to have this instinct to protect your mom. I get it. But you can't protect her from her own choices. You don't have that right as her son. You have to accept what she did. Now, if she switches up and then makes the right decision and you want to facilitate helping her make that decision as far as dealing with it, like get his stuff, then that's cool. But you can't make her make a different choice. My point to saying that is when those situations are brought to us, we handle that. And number two, it's about choice. People choose to listen to what they want to listen to. That's not on us. And you're trying to say I have this responsibility to make them listen to certain shit.
Yeah, but
hold on. I got a quick question.
Your argument.
Hold on, bro. Don't you got a channel?
I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to Edward.
No. I mean, it's a simple question. I mean, this is logic. You're talking about logic and all these things. Do you not have a channel?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and did you say you were here from the original? You're 1.0, right?
And
so, what are you doing out of all the shit you grilling Edward on? What are you doing about it?
Fantastic. This is some old shit. This is some
you came here
pre shit.
to deflect. Let me talk right back to Ed.
Shout out to Fantastic for 4,000 subscribers. He's passed me. Shout
No,
out to him.
I'm talking to Edward because you came over here just to deflect.
And by the way, I'm known. Hold on, and I'm not saying I'll never say I put anybody on. Look. I get certain people put people on. I get Solo put people on. I get Obsidian put people on. What I'm saying is I do my little part by sharing people's stuff that I like because I do that to tell the audience members y'all need to start doing that shit too. If you're too cheap to pay, then at least share people's stuff. And Fantastic can attest to me doing that. Nick can attest to me doing that. But go ahead, Big J. What's
hold on a second. Hold on. God damn it. I want to get Brother Taylor in here because I haven't heard from my brother since he's been up here. I appreciate your patience, brother. You've been up here a long time. Then we'll swing it back around to Brother Super Sly. Then we'll work our way back around the round robin, man. I want to get everybody in here. So, Brother Taylor, go ahead, man. Is he still with us? You're muted, Brother Taylor. Damn. All right. I guess we're going to Brother Super Sly and work our way from there. Go ahead, Brother Super Sly.
Part of the problem I see is eventually some of us will outgrow the space. This was a
sure I can buy that.
Right. This was a beautiful coming together gladiator school. We cut our bones. We made some friends, we made some enemies, we learned to navigate, build our channels, what works for us, and then you ascend. And some people may have a problem with that. I don't. I want this thing to grow. I don't either. I want people to pop and blow up. I just want to make sure, I would hope the message still remains pure at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I may not agree with everybody, but if they get their shot, at the end of the day, is the message still the same as when we were all mixing and mingling together at certain points? You know, like, because it seems the message keeps shifting every year. First, it was for men to come and congregate to vent. Then it was like, fuck the black women. Now it's like, we want to have a conversation with black women. Wait. I didn't get the memo. So what is the message for the manosphere? Are we for men's rights? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we not for building family? The message has been so convoluted depending on who you ask.
The black manosphere is like Greece, and you got a whole bunch of city-states. I've always said that, and that's the problem. And so a lot of what you're saying depends on who tries to wrestle control of the manosphere. You had a situation with the conservatives with the Trump shit. Try to wholly take over. Got people to push back on that. Our people have a right to have their opinion, but they don't represent everybody. They have the right to have their opinion. They don't represent everybody. So my point is, you always see that. That's the manosphere. I think people look at the manosphere to say, is it one thing? I've never looked for that. I looked into what I want to get out of the manosphere. Here's the thing. I don't believe that people should look for the manosphere to tell them who you need to be. I think it can inform it. It's good. It's kind of like a hive mind. You can kind of, not a hive mind, but a mastermind you can plug into. But I don't think people should get so engulfed in the manosphere that it should just become who they are. And then, because part of what makes the manosphere great is people bring different things into it, and different pockets and groups bring different things into it that might not necessarily been able to bubble up in the surface. Now, you got people that got their internal politics where they're trying to change up what the manosphere is. This is why I said other spheres need to be created. And it's better that we create it than somebody else creates it, and we're at the mercy of it. And when you see the rise of some of these females, and you got dudes that do want to do what you said last, have a conversation now that things 5 years ago has come to fruition now. Now I think it's a more fruitful environment to do that versus when the 1.0 guys did that, or to revisit it. Whereas when the 1.0 guys did that, the women had no reason to really come off of shit. I mean, we got automation, we got COVID, we got a lot of shit going on. And then you got other female channels that are starting to come in good faith. Women like the Six Goddess, women like Avery Willie, women like Simone. You got fantastic game changer people talking through it. I mean, I have my issues with some people and some things like Danica Marie. I have certain concerns, but they're gonna be better having a more good faith conversation than a lot of these chicks that ain't married and shit. They talking shit. You can't see what they look like, all that shit. I can deal with a couple of issues, but they ain't no receipts nowhere, and I'm good for creating a space like that, so people can have that voice, because I think that's a form of us expanding. But I'm not the one that can make that happen on my own. And I'm not going to invest the money it takes to do it, because quite frankly, I don't give a shit to that extent. But that's just me.
Wait a minute. You just said you don't give a shit, but 5 minutes ago, you trying to dictate.
I said that I don't give a shit from the perspective of I'm going to invest the money to fund channels to make that happen. That's what I'm saying. Do I give a shit enough to put 10,000, 20,000 into accelerating that? No, that's going to be a collective group effort, but I'll definitely support it. Again, dude, you got a personal issue with me, and you're trying to politic it away through all this other crap, and everybody sees it. But go ahead.
A personal problem. The main person who got a personal problem is not on here, so that you must be in your feelings about that.
It must be somebody I like. It must be somebody I like, since you really want.
Wait a minute. What
makes any sense?
Why you acting all moist at work? Because the thing is, there ain't no personal shots.
That's strike one. I said you got a personal problem. You call me
Fantastic moist. Or Nick, y'all wanna pick it up? Y'all wanna go ahead and pick it up?
Oh no, I mean, I could end this real quickly. In fact,
I want to hold on a second.
I gotta say this. This is a kind of a short thing, because I'm a short guy. It just hit me one day with the Sixth Goddess that I gotta believe the reason she calls herself Sixth Goddess is because she's probably 6 foot. Maybe that's a short guy thing, but I was like, that just hit me like a ton of bricks. I said that's gotta be where that comes from.
I want to get my brother Taylor in here, because he ain't said nothing all night.
Man, my thing was acting up. What's up, X?
What's good with it, brother Taylor?
Man, I don't know. My thing, I look up, it just kept freezing my mic, so I rebooted it.
I kept seeing you going in and out. I said he must be having technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties. New computer
control room messing up.
Hey, what's up,
boss, man? Go ahead.
All right, what's up, BMT, Big J, Edward, Techie,
Yo, what's going on,
what's up, Slide? That's my dog right there. We down. Look, I'm listening to this here, and I'm still, don't nobody get me wrong, I'm trying to figure out what everybody arguing about. I mean, everybody here got a platform. Okay, I look at it like this. Everybody on this panel up here on this space know who each other is and know what each other do and how each other get down. Am I right or left?
Right.
Okay. Right. So okay, now I done took one step. A couple of people didn't budge, so I guess they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So look, I can't expect Techie to come over here to my channel, and talk about what Slot and do with them, and then BMT. We all got different channels, but what I notice a lot, why I'm old. I'm 0.0. I'm Nick 0.0. I got my own algorithm, my own Linux kernel, and my own scoring matrix. Okay, but I know everybody up here. What is so hard that folks just can't let somebody else be who they are? They claim they don't give a F about them, but they always worrying about what they talking about or what they doing or what this one says about marriage. Look, I'm gonna tell you, marriage ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. I mean, excuse me. Damn, who past the age of 24 that don't know that yet? So why would we even have a conversation? I doubt if anybody up here under 24. So why would we even be talking about whether marriage is for every black man or not? Because everybody here know a black man that was married all his life and they died together, and black men and black women that couldn't stand each other. But okay, so the ones that couldn't stand each other, that mean the ones that's married got to give it up because the other side couldn't deal with it, and vice versa? No. I mean, you got to make a decision. Either it's for you or it ain't. You know what I mean? But I ain't going to beat up nobody. I know dudes that don't have kids. I'm married with kids. Well, they adults, but I was, we were married then, had kids, and then they went out to be adults. But why am I going to beat up somebody that ain't married, that don't have no kids? And then because I ain't had a chance, so I'm going to get it out, and then I'm going to shut up. But then when people, well, Nick, well, you don't even, why you got something in the easy? Because I got kids. And they got to deal with this bullshit that's being shoveled by the current masses out here on the street, the males and the females. The boys got to deal with this current girl shit. The chicks got to deal with this current male shit. Both sides got good ones, and both got sides that's fucked up. Now, any dude here that can sit here and say they don't know a dude that ain't worth a shit, or don't know a chick who life ain't worth the crumpled paper her damn birth certificate is written on, I'm gonna cut it out. You a damn lie. You a damn lie. And I don't care if you my friend. If you my friend, I call you a lie because you my friend. I'm not gonna lie to you to save feelings or relationship. You a lie. Pick what's good for you. There's rookie ass motherfucking dudes out here, and there's chimp ass broads out here too. I know a chimp when I see one. So how'd you wind up having 2 kids by a chimp? That means you a chimp, because water seeks its own level. Just if you fucked up in life, everybody done made a mistake somewhere. Unfuck yourself, straighten yourself out, and get back in the game. And I'll pause myself.
Wow.
All right. I guess we're going.
Was that good enough, Sly? Was that good, Sly? You like that?
I guess we're going to.
Somebody might steal that. Unfuck yourself,
brother. BMT. You got anything, brother Edward?
I don't know. I never listen, y'all. I never got anything to Edward. Like I said, listen. Everybody has their own content. I never gave a shit to try to critique or contort somebody's content. Like, as men, if I'm fucked up, trust and believe, I've heard plenty of times Nick has no problem putting in the comments, I don't agree with that, BMT. And he'll speak his shit. Like, he has no problem doing that. I've had different men hit me on the side and say that shit. That's the code of men. There's no problem doing that. I don't always agree with Edward. And Edward has told me stuff on the side that I don't agree with. And we've had our talks. But there's no one way to critique this space, okay? Because it's not a one-minded thing. Even though sometimes there would be some type of mission statement. Last time I checked, like maybe my damn Windows XP is out of date. I'm on 97 shit, so I need to go update it. But I mean, shit, I'm now finding there's a goddess in the goddamn space. What the fuck? So I know I'm way out of time. But I think in the ultimate cosmos, like I was saying in the debate, when we're looking at, all I'm seeing is, if it's something that literally that it could have been something great. I'm just being honest. It could have been something great. It's just now I look at it as niggatube.com, where we could just come and have fun and talk our shit and have a good time. I got no problem with that. I agree. Entertainment sells. It sells more than education. And I mean, but let's not pretend it is what it's more than it is. Like, I had shout out to goddamn what y'all, a lot of y'all like J.I. He came through my channel, and I was the one who actually was pushing it. A family channel, imagine that, pushing financial abortion. What the fuck? But I still supported the brother, and guess what? He came over here to T.P.O.T. You know what I'm saying? I supported a lot of black men. I go over to a lot of y'all channels just to make sure, hey man, like, y'all messages deserved. But I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna pretend like I just know that this is not a space you could take a fucking young man and drop him here and say leave it to his own devices. That's like giving him goddamn rat poison and say snort. Like,
okay. So what I would say is this. I would say is, I would say these are listed channels. Could you create like 30 or 40 channels that are manosphere adjacent that a kid could listen to? Yes.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, I actually work at Google. So actually, and you know what's funny about that? Majority of these channels are not on Black YouTube listings.
No.
Is that not crazy?
No, I've looked at them. A lot of our stuff, and and that's because our stuff is not. I mean, when it comes to Google search, I mean, we don't title our stuff for that. We don't. I don't even blame Google for that. Our stuff is not titled for that, and that's actually something that needs to be dealt with. And that's actually an opportunity for somebody to really come up low key. It's probably an opportunity I'm going to take because I can just aggregate all y'all stuff into a blog and then get stuff off of it. But whatever.
Hey, I had a question. I had a question for Ed, real quick. In your video, you said we should build a firewall around Donovan Sharp. Could you clarify to me as to why we should do that when guys like him have clearly made their choice and who they're aligned with?
Well, when you say a firewall, what I meant, okay, so when I said that, probably what I was referring to is Donovan Sharp creating his own version of like his own black audience his way. Because that's literally, because I said a long time ago, either Donovan's trying to terraform the manosphere and merge it, kind of like Outworld, merge that into the general manosphere, because that's what O'Shea was saying. If that's what it is, that's what he was saying disagreement was. If that's what it is, I don't agree with that. But if he's carving out in greater black YouTube his own people, this is where the Hotep Jesus, a lot of the people, some are in the manosphere, some aren't, and a lot of we're always kind of in the more complaint part of the manosphere, like critiquing the manosphere part, other than Solo, then I mean that's his right to do it, and he's creating a firewall. As far as when I generally mention firewalls, I'm talking about separating sectors of the manosphere. So if you create a purple pill space, create that. Do I think that, quite frankly, that's up to individuals as far as wanting to protect Donovan. A lot of people feel a certain type of way about Donovan. I like Donovan, and I'm going to side with Donovan over them white boys, irregardless.
I figured that's what you meant, more like a partition, but how a firewall works is only certain things are allowed to pass through that wall while other items are blocked.
Now, why would you pick him over the white guys when? Because I'm looking once again. I'm gonna go to optics. I see a guy at one point that was cool with us, used us. It was good when the getting was good, and then hit a ceiling. Now it's time to go over to greener pastures, right? And then somehow you pissed off the wrong white dude, and now you know they done did what they did. Now you want to come back and kind of say, hey.
Well, I'm not really. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, because here's the thing.
But is that what you saw? Am I wrong when I say?
I mean, that's what was said. Yeah, that he's trying to back channel it. And I mean, again, that's up to those influencers. And I've heard what they've said. Obsidian and O'Shea have made it very clear what they think. And, you know, they have the ability to enforce that influence in case other people try to kind of back channel it. And I'm not against that. My thing is, I like Donovan. I understand it. And look, O'Shea and Obsidian have said that Donovan was very, very talented. But what I'm saying is, I'm not so much saying that we should take him back. I'm saying that don't side with them white boys over what he's saying. If you deal with Donovan, do not listen to them because they got Rolo. Like, here's the thing. Even off of what they're talking about, they got Rolo over there. And look, I don't know all the white dudes over there. I know Sandman and a couple of them, but I don't listen to their stuff. Like, real talk. I only know Rolo through all them talking about it. Like Donovan. But my thing is, go ahead.
No, well, when you say pick him over the white boys, but he picked the white boys over the space.
Yeah, he did.
He's not the first, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to side with them over some stuff that's clearly some hypocritical shit. But this is not something where I'm campaigning for dudes to give energy. This isn't like when he got his channel taken away and then dudes helped grow his channel back. Because I was on that episode when he was on the Brother Pill, and that was being talked about. I think we got him like right to 1,000. It was like 100 something subs he needed. So I get that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, even my point to me saying that up front was talking about even black men like Coach Greg Adams, Darius McTow, they go over there and they deal with the general manosphere. We should not look at that necessarily as betrayal. Now, Donovan has a unique case, but that's not the truth for like Darius McTow and necessarily Coach Greg Adams. So I'm not saying that people need to go over there and save him. What I'm saying is, don't sit there and jam the knife Like, don't be like Donovan's Julius Caesar and the senators is all these white dudes and we happen to be the two black men jamming a knife in them. Now, if dudes want to say, I don't got to save you, help, I don't got to kill you, but I don't got to save you either, then yeah, I understand why people would take that opinion.
Here's my initial problem when they do that. It's like we're Africa. Everybody comes and takes. And they take all the resources and they leave. And then it's like you still want us to fuck with you. Like, no. And once again, it goes back to me saying white validation is supreme. And I can look at this space and see it firsthand and in real time. I can point to 5 or 6 guys and say, yep, white validation, white validation, white validation, white validation. So is that not important to us as men?
I've made it very clear. You deal with the white boys, you do it at your own risk.
Okay.
I've said that multiple times. Like, and even audience members, because you'll have dudes like shout out to Fantastic that'll talk like, because he says he's heavy on the politics, that we should deal with them. But I'm like, there's a reason the Black Manosphere existed, and it's because one of the reasons is because they have their own shit, and if we're going to their shit. It's not going to be no partnership in no real way. So I said, if you all go over there, my point is you do it at your own risk, but I will support you all doing that. Now, I don't consider it necessarily everybody leaving like that, but Donovan has a unique case because Donovan made it very clear that he was what he was trying to do. I don't think everybody that does that, but I get it with Donovan. I get why people say that because, I mean, it's out there.
So what happened was, and I want to say this, when I was over, shout out to Maurice Doe, I brought some of the white guys to the Manosphere. I said, why don't y'all come over here to the Black Manosphere? There's a Black Manosphere? I said, yeah, come on over. And when I brought them over here, the reaction was fucking golden. It was golden. But they were like, what the fuck is pumping up? And I just let them just go around and start lurking around in the chats. But I wanted them to see what's at stake. And it's kind of like the bottom of the barrel Manosphere over there of their people. That's the ones that are on their spaces talking. And then when they come over here, it's somehow they get relevancy. Then they go back to their shit and they stop fucking with us. Like it's like they don't know us at all. And I'll be like, well, damn.
Are you talking about the white boys?
Yeah, the white boys.
Yeah, I've been told they do that in the geekdom community too.
It's the Eminem effect.
Yeah, but I'm not the one over here doing that, and I don't really support people that do that. So I'm trying to see who's, because I'm not trying to bring O'Shea into it, but I remember with that not John Paul. It was that dude that he said it was slandering him for real when he went at Saint in the Center, and I remember the white dude he was talking about that had a black wife that was in Kenya and stuff. Yeah, and I was that was him.
Yeah,
wow.
That was John Carl Video. His name John Carl Video. That's the one who years
the Kenyan. He has a Kenyan wife. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
And I remember that back in the Hangout days, and then that was like the one dude that O'Shea would talk. The one dude, and I was like, wow, he did all of that, and that completely validated why O'Shea kicked all the white people off of his channel. But go ahead.
Yeah, but that was John Carl Video. Was the one doing that shit, trying to get O'Shea in some legal shit with the, but anyway, that did happen though. So so that one, you're right on that part. You're right on that part.
I only do veteran panels. And I only do political talk panel. That's the most I deal with the white folks. Other than that, I take my black ass and say, all right, I'm gonna go deal with black people. Because after that, you motherfuckers ain't gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, there's a lot of genres. I tell Ty City, look, yeah, he can have a black element to his like gun thing, but if you're trying to get some money, I mean, you need to have more of a general audience. I mean, you still need to partner up with shout out to Red Firearms, that Instagram page and stuff like that. But a lot of us need to start bringing. I mean, some of y'all got channels other than what you would consider in this space, and I think more people should do that. I mean, shout out to Soul Provider, and I think a lot of people is kind of like this push and pull. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, man, a lot of the socialpreneurship about what men do, I kind of separated from this because I just never expected this space to turn into the political action committee. Now, I think something could be born out of that that's separate. Just like how the passport situation is separate. And to be clear, I've always had complaints about the passport thing. I'm not that they do perfect shit. Like, no, I have. And then people like, I used to be in the space talking about
fuck those dudes, man.
But hold on. The passport space is a lot bigger than just the people y'all say it. My only thing, and I'm gonna say it as far as this. The one thing I've always complained about is stop uploading Instagram pages, Instagram photos, and they need to be authentic, which that's gotten a lot better. And then the other thing is, as far as people that are against it, people can say fuck those dudes, say whatever they want, because it's on them to grow to be seen what they need to be seen, and me to contribute to that. I just don't want people alluding to the pedophile, and that's a couple of people. That's quite a few people doing that. That's not just one or two or three. Like Jap is like the most recent one to do it, doing the perv shit. Which is kind of, so as long as people stay out of that, unless they got, obviously, if y'all got, here's the thing, if y'all got like, and the first time it happened, it had this one dude that was kind of tied to it. That's fucked up, but at least that's something that people can point to. If it's like something where motherfuckers just saying that shit just to create the illusion, if there's like a case, then fine, fuck it, it's a case. I mean, y'all are speaking to the case, and if people want to tie it in, that's different.
To your point, so I interviewed a sister. She's worldly traveling. She's probably got more stamps than any nigga in the passport community. Period. Okay,
I can believe that.
This woman has said out her own fucking mouth. She has seen Black American men do weird shit over there. Now, it doesn't help my case. I'm just getting it from the source. And
somebody told they shared that in my.
So my thing is this: why do people act like there's not a section, faction, a group of Black American men overseas doing weird shit?
Yeah, it ain't nobody said 100% of all. You're right, Sly. Nobody, but they act like.
Because that's not representative.
Every black man that goes over there do weird shit. That's not what we said.
I'll answer that because that's not representative of the people that's in the space.
Right, but that's about it. But you see,
and that is what it was alluded. No, I get what you're saying, but there's people that do everything. Like Dennis Sperling, like, okay, so statistically, only 6% of Black people have passports. Black women have more passports than Black men. It's about the same numbers how we have more marriages. We're married more. Like, it's like by a couple of points, but it's there. Just like Dennis Sperling, I'm gonna buy this book. He's got a book that he's reading, that he read, called The Pursuit of Happiness. And this is written by a woman that talks about how women, I'm not trying to do that they do it too shit, but I'm just talking about one gets promoted more than the other. Like how women are over there tricking on Jamaican dudes. And then here's the thing. You got places like Mocha Fest, and you've got places like Urban Escapes. Go look them up on Instagram. They have, there's whole economies around women doing heathenist.
I'm with you. And she spoke on all that. But the one thing I keep getting pushback is the Black men, they always say, well, that, okay, I didn't say all y'all. I said there's a few of y'all out here doing this. And it's not Pookies and Ray Rays.
I just did a video saying that it was the thing about the the two black men, African American men getting robbed, and I said I mean that's fucked up, but I don't feel bad for them, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you're flaunting money on WhatsApp in a vulnerable situation, that's gonna be what that's gonna.
You did say that. I did hear you say that.
Gonna be
right.
And at the end of the day, and the thing is, internally, these conversations are had. This idea. Well, I ain't talking about what you talk about. Fantastic, that conversation. But like as far as what you saying, but the conversation about when you go down there, you represent all of us. And this idea that y'all fuck, because before I got into the passport thing, even Charles Tyler was saying the DR was fucked up for a long time ago, way before even 2.0 got created. But this idea that, you don't want to recreate, and it just got a lot worse. It's just you don't want to recreate the nigga shit that goes on in the DR and duplicate that like in Colombia. And this is where I drew that from. Like you got dudes, because Colombia is harder because it's a more expensive ticket versus the DR. You have routes like from New York and New Jersey that's very inexpensive. And then obviously you got Miami, which that's going to be easy because it's right there. It's a hub. And so these conversations are had. So when people push back kind of with the outside thing, again, I tell dudes, even BMT in them, or Black Male Travels, is y'all need to focus. I'm kind of in both spaces. We need to focus on growing, because the reason why I'm tied to the space as much as I am is not because the end goal of traveling is because traveling is expensive. It takes money. So traveling starts to have you look at what are you doing economically, because a lot of dudes that travel, they go Ghana Dan and them, they were truck drivers and stuff. What are you doing now in order to get your economics in a position where that's even possible? Because, and I also say that even if I asked Marty McFly this when we did a panel the other day. I asked him, so if I told you weren't going to have sex, would you still recommend somebody travel? And he hesitated. It took him 5 seconds, but he said yes. I say yes without hesitation because I know what my experience is. The truth is, yeah, I've done the sex tourism thing, and I got some stories for you. One story,
but that's not your main motivation. The problem is,
I was there because of corporate America.
The problem is the optics around this. If this is all you guys, if this is all they talk about, if this is all they show, then you get mad when I believe that this is the stereotype that you present to me. Now, we get it. White men do it all. White men been doing this forever and a day.
Yeah, white men been doing this. Mexicans do this. Polynesians do it.
But niggas act like it's the brand new lick. It's like when we go crack a credit card scam. You don't never give niggas the scam because they gonna fuck it up for everybody else.
That's on them. And my thing is that first of all, it's too expensive to be traveling just to trick. Even if you got the DR routes. If you do it as a consistent supply of how you get vagina, yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. Not unless you got paper like that. And the second thing is, my thing is always the power of choice. And that's another vector. And this is why I'm also one of the main ones that brought intercultural dating into the lexicon. Because again, I know there's dudes that they want black women for genetic reasons, for legacy reasons, but they understand the software piece. So I'm all about choice. What you choose to do, what you choose to do. Now, as far as the passport shit, yeah, there's dusty shit, but there's dusty shit with everything. Does the dusty shit get talked about? Yes. Does it get complained about? Yes. Could that be shown that we're complaining about it more? Sure. But the thing is, like the people that I'm actually putting together like a list. I'm trying to make it 100 different links when it comes to the passport community. This is bigger than just passport bros. This is the entire community, but it's going to be centered around black men and black people. So people like Rockland, people like even at the top level, Jabril, passport heavy. They do digital marketing agency. Shout out to Jesse, who's living in Ghana, who goes back and forth. Shout out to Ghana Dan, who does that. And then going back to the stuff y'all are complaining about. Yeah, it does get talked about. As far as the crazy stuff, now that doesn't get talked about as far as dealing with little growth thing. Because the thing about me is here's the reality situation. If that shit was happening in any kind of numbers, you wouldn't see a lot of black men going over there because they'd be killed. You go to Colombia and it's because number one, they're gonna deal with think about what happens in prison when it comes to you're suspected of doing that. You go to the third world, even if you're one of them, if you're an outsider and that's alluded to, oh no, you won't come back. Like for real. So the fact that they even let black people come in there in that significant level, because black men ain't getting the same kind of protection that white men, Americans would get. We'll get American protection, but we're not gonna get the same. And if it's alluded to that might be what people are doing, or anything illegal. One of my favorite shows is Locked Up Abroad.
But when you say illegal, that's context. That you talk about different laws and statutes in different countries. Yeah. What we deem illegal here, it's a free for all in some. Well, spots.
I can tell you when it comes, even the laws in the United States, when it comes to marriage and stuff. I mean, New York just changed their obviously you had to do that with parents' permission, but they just updated the consent of marriage from like 12 to something. So even the laws here. But my point is, going over there, you got the law, but there's certain things that you're not going to do if it doesn't matter what the law says. They don't give a fuck about what the law says when it comes to stuff like that. That stuff is very primal. So if it's seen that you're mining and you're mining it for that, no, they're not playing that game. And I can tell you, I mean, you've been overseas, so I'm not gonna act like you don't know. I'll say this: I had 2 experiences as a people that don't really wouldn't think. Number one, in every country, even on the sex tourism bit, which, by the way, I was introduced to me by a white boy, but whatever. Even on that bit, they don't have to, at least in the Philippines, they don't have to go with you. The way they do their stuff is they do their stuff like if you go to those places, it's like a bar, and they whatever, titties out, whatever, they keep getting you drinks, and as long as you keep buying drinks, the women will keep coming. And when I say women keep coming, I'm talking sitting on your lap and shit. Once you stop buying drinks, that's over. What I used to do, because I'm cheap, is I bought me a Coca-Cola and I got a little drink and I pour that in because I don't drink like that. So it was what it was. But my point is, that's what their job is. Now, if you want to, like, you know, rent one, buy whatever y'all want to call it, they can say no. And then they are not encouraged to say yes, because I saw them tell some white folks no. So I was like, damn, now that's obviously in one country and one location. I'm not saying that's everywhere, but that's something I would have never thought looking in. Now, here's the stuff y'all just more alluded to what y'all talk about. There was, and I've never said this. There is one time where I went to where I was me and the crew, and we're talking about corporate America people. I was there to help set up call centers. And I can't name the company because y'all would know what it is, and no, but it's a big one. And the thing about it is, we went over there, and just the era of the stuff, it looked like a hood. And I'm like, observing this situation. I don't know if the women were age or whatever, but it was some kind of backhole thing. As soon as I saw it, I like, what the fuck? And what the fuck are you doing? I never went again. So when you're saying that there's possible that there's some places there, I'm not saying there's not. But there's like an uptick of black men doing it compared to other men, that I'm gonna push back on. And I doubt black men would even do that, because we know the mentality of black men anyway.
Okay. Here's my thing is, I've been able to do this early in my 20s, was to travel. So when I see men in their 40s like Kermit the Frog in the window of the plane, I'm like, I was doing that 20 years ago. That's no big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, you should be excited to see another culture, history, language. The sex is like, okay, duh. But they put the shit in reverse, and I'm like, y'all doing this?
Well, the white boys were doing that. And by the way, a lot of the radio dudes, what's the dude, Tom Joyner and them, they've been doing that. I'm not justifying.
I had family will go on a hedonism to Jamaica with Tom Joyner.
Yeah,
and
I'm not justifying
all types of stories and video footage, and I'm like, these are niggas doing this shit.
I slept in a castle.
Yeah. And that's a lot, and that's a lot bigger, because that stuff is in plain sight. And again, it ain't just women going to Mocha Fest or Urban Escapes. That's both. But a lot of that. But my point is that that's not reflective in what the Passport Bros are saying. That's like something completely different. Like Tom Joyner ain't Passport Bros. Passport Bros is representative of a couple of YouTube channels and a couple of Facebook groups. That's what they choose to want to focus on when it comes to the SYSBM space. And a big reason why dudes want to travel anyway is because they want to deal with something more melanated than not melanated. Otherwise, they just be SYSBM data white shit. So that's all that it is.
I'm all for it. I want brother to travel, but the sex that's already an assumption. We get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you put that in the front of the horse, of the cart, you're doing this ass backwards.
It's put in the front because that's what attracts. I'm not denying it is. Yeah. It is, because that's what attracts. That's what keeps that. This is where BMT's talking about views and shit in the audience. That's where that comes into play.
What do you mean by views and audience? Okay,
well, when you said you talk about business and more productive stuff, like business and stuff like that. Like, let's say I would have put in, I'll give you an example. Let's say I would have put in the affiliate marketing thing as at least my way of creating, because you need income that actually travels with you. This is where internet marketing, digital agency stuff comes in. A lot of dudes like to talk about Bitcoin and Forex. Let's do that, because that's actually what's promoted, even though I don't agree with that as a primary monetary mechanism to travel. But dudes do. So you're not going to get as much views as you would if you put that in front of it. When you look at Master Teacher One, he has a financial and travel channel. The views that clearly do better are the how are black men treated in Ukraine? How are black men treated here? But and then he uses that to wrap around his financial stuff, which is this is a dude that has a PhD in finance, Air Force. So that is who he is. And he, by the way, lives in London, but he's African. He's American, African American. So that's what brings people to the yard. Now, if people want to critique that, that's legitimate critique. But I mean, I was just talking about Nomad's list on my channel, but that's the audience.
Okay. So first of all, I can give shit about the views anymore. Like, honestly, like I said, now that I work for the man himself, I understand how this bitch works very well. And so, honestly, like, when I talk about like lobbying, like, I know what real lobbying power is. When the motherfucker says, all right, guys, let's pool. Right now, we need $10,000. And that shit happened in like 1 hour of the chat. Okay. I've seen real lobbying power in the chat. Like, and it wasn't no complaining. It was like, yo, like, this could have been something. Like, this could have been something where we could have got shit. It amazes me as much as dudes bring up about child support, and I'm like, well, damn, like, well, let's go ahead and like look at a lawyer. I mean, there've been a few people. I mean, we're saying that people are coming to the space, and I mean, get it? Like, I get it. Y'all saying that, hey, that's not my message. Okay, that's not your message. I get it. I don't give a fuck what y'all messages are. But I'm like, if the dominant people or the dominant heartbeat is on certain things that I know I can put it in, and the majority, some channels pop up. So I'm like, okay, then do something about it. But if it's literally going to be a circle jerk or whacking off of woe is me, and I mean, I don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't. Like I said, everybody's entitled to what they do. But the same thing that they bitch about is the same thing that they chase for.
Well, I mean, my channel is not reflective of that. Somebody asked me, my channel, hold on, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, somebody asked me about child support. I'm instantly saying, yeah, you need to talk to, here's the channel, Mr. Palmer, you know, type that in, or Angry Man. Those are the two people I'm instantly referring. Like, and I actually do what I need to do to be a hub. Angry Man knows people that know they're lawyers and stuff when it comes to child support and stuff like that, and advocates for that. So I point to people where that's their thing, and I do that on a daily basis. Glendon Cameron always comes out of my mouth. You know, as far as learning corporate stuff, heck, Glendon Cameron is really promoting being in more stable relationships because for production. So my thing is, yeah, I get what you're saying is a general complaint, but that needs to go to. I'm not saying that. I mean, I get it. I mean, you're saying it's to the influencers, it's gonna be what it is, but it's like
I get what listen, man. I get what you're saying, man, and I get like I get your marketing. You're a big marketer. I get you marketing and sharing all these people's channels. I don't got no smoke against that. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I've been done move past a lot of these things. Only thing I'm saying is, hey, man, like I said, I came up for debate, but I also brought up about, hey, man, I'm not going to pretend like this space is something more than what it is. It's not. It's just something of, hey, a hub of just entertainment. You know what I'm saying? David Carroll's been saying the same thing about black women since fucking David Carroll. Like, he ain't going to never say anything different, but it's going to be repetition about black women. Shout out to David Carroll on that. Like, some people, that's just going to be their main stitch. But if it's like, yo, if you're done with that bitch, leave that bitch alone and go move the fuck on with something else. But some people are in trauma mode. These motherfuckers are never going to.
Well, the problem is new people come into the space. Like, the thing is, there are people that come in and come out. That's part of what happened with 1.0 as well. So a lot of them just came out. You know, Solon Black went to more his HVAC stuff. SWP went more to his medical stuff. I mean, people come out, and so you got new people to come in with new problems, and you got a lot of these Z's, because a lot of what you talk about is rehashing the old stuff. I see it in a lot of these younger YouTubers where they're starting to do the stuff we did 5 years ago, which is talk about the same people, the Tanya TKOs, the what Karazin said, what all that said, and I've told them, I'm like, look, you know, this stuff has been addressed. If you want to readdress it from a zillennial standpoint, you can, but this space is built to a level where it's more open to other things and just doing that same stuff. But it is what it is. They're going to do what they do. And
but like what BMT said, it's more of a misery love company type thing.
Well, that's an audience problem. Again, like all are asking us to terraform the audience. And the audience wants what they want.
That's not what anybody says. So why are you repeating yourself? That's not the point. That's not the point.
You're putting the responsibility on the content creators to tell people what to think. But go ahead.
No, I didn't say that. But if you want to go there, fine. But the thing, what I'm seeing, and I'm not in everything what BMT said is I totally agree with, because what I'm seeing is trauma bonding for the sake of trauma bonding, and there's no resolution, there's no conflict resolution, and then there's no elevation of the conversation. Because the way I see it, I'm gonna say so where a lot of these arguments that I'm hearing is being repeated from a dead white man named Lee Atwater. Single mothers or the worst steward of the family. That came from a dead white man from 1976. Lee Atwater and Bill Bennett, Dan Quayle. I mean the same old dribble, the same old argument.
Columbia,
some of these stats that some of y'all repeat is outdated.
Yeah, okay. So again, y'all keep saying y'all. Like I got to deal with everybody in the manosphere. There are plenty of people that I don't fuck with. I tell my audience all the time that there's certain places in the manosphere I don't go, and you shouldn't either. And if you go, that's your fucking fault. I tell my audience, my personal audience, y'all ain't shit all the time because y'all drive a lot of this stupid shit. Like when they try to, yeah, man, it's this beef or that beef. Or when somebody sent me an email talking about what Sly said, I said that again. I said, yeah, I mentioned his name. He's gonna say something back. I prefer not to get that email because I'm not about to do the back and forth bullshit. And the dude apologized, and I said, I know you're doing this from a good place. I'm not trying to tell you not what to do. I'm just saying I don't want to be informed on what people said unless they saying some really, really slanderous shit, like the perv shit.
A lot of people do it because they like to see fuckery going. I ain't talking about this person, but that's the way a lot of the Negro sector is.
Yep, and the thing is, there's been because people sometimes will take what I say the wrong way, or they'll take it exactly the right way, and they're gonna respond. And I understand that, but what happens is you gotta. That's the entertainment part BMT is talking about. So it's not that I'm trying to dismiss what you're saying, BMT. I've told my audience this. I've said at the end of the day, if y'all want better, y'all gonna have to start supporting the people that's talking about more productive shit. Don't act like I don't share it, and don't act like you don't see it, and don't act like I don't mention it. But I also acknowledge that they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and sometimes it's up to you to look for. Like, here's the thing: you got YouTube, you got Instagram. I've got Telegram groups that really a lot of people don't know about. That's very exclusive to certain people. You got Twitter. You got Clubhouse now. Hell, you got TikTok now. There are places that people can get traction where it may have been harder for them to get traction before, algorithm wise, that can find the audiences that's reflective in what they want to do.
Let me hold on a second.
Yeah, we got 10 more minutes.
Let me interject here. I got to go along with Brother Edward on this one. And here's the reason why. You often hear people talk about, all y'all guys talk about is, all y'all guys talk about is, all y'all guys talk about is. That being the case, that means all you people are watching is, all you people are watching is, all you people are watching is. Because I know me, I don't know anything about the channels that I don't like. I can't tell you what's going on the female side of channels because I don't watch the female stuff. So I can't come back to my channel and say, well, all these women talk about this. All these women talk about that. You know why I can't say that? Because I do not watch them.
You heard what Jessica X said.
Yeah, I don't watch them. I don't watch them. So when you come up here and you say, well, all you guys do is talk about X, Y, and Z. Well, you must be taking a lot of that X, Y, and Z content in. If you can explain it and describe it so greatly about everything that's being talked about, which leads me to believe that maybe you don't dislike it as much as you say. Because if you're watching it and you're able to give this full description about how this person talks about that, how that person talks about this, how this... that means you're taking some of this content in as well, which leads me to believe that maybe you're not a detractor or an interlocker or a hater. You
I don't know that we had women in
are a fan.
Yeah, well, you can consider that karma bonding. These the women that I'm mentioning are not really in the quote unquote manosphere like a Kendra D. These are newer channels that's kind of popped up in the kind of rise of Kevin. So these are new channels. Now some people have been around, kind of like the Nika Marie, where like the Six Goddess has been around, and she's more on that black. And I know, roll your eyes on the black femininity shit. But I would say, look, she's living what she's talking, but yeah. Then you've got and she's very fair. I understand why people like the Nika Marie. I have my concerns, but overall she's more positive than negative. But you've got newer channels that have come up, like Simone, Avery Woodley, who is actually Tyron Woodley's ex-wife. You've got and these are new channels that I saw from like less than 1,000, and they came up. Someone came up talk about Kevin. Now they talk about other stuff like Avery Willie's talk about Same Team. And so when I talk about like a purple pill space, we know we have guys that they have the awareness of what could happen with marriage, but they obviously want to do it for their own reasons and cultural reasons. Even with the stepfatherhood situation, look, I had a stepdad. I'm not going to do it. But I'm not going to sit here and say, nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah. But my thing is, but if people want to do it, they want to do it. I'm just going to say, whatever you do, you're going to do it eyes wide open. And that's the same thing if you choose to be a bachelor. Like, I'm not trying, Alan Roger Curry did stuff that he wanted to do. But one thing that I do disagree with is, like, for instance, Glendon is that dude. But if you go look at his channel, he was talking about like getting married at like 60 years old and having a kid. It seems like Mick Jagger is like somebody that like is an example. I'm not against that. And by the way, he has kids already. He was married before. But what I'm saying is, if you wanna be a bachelor and then you're gonna switch up when you get old anyway, then at that point it might behoove you to kind of think about what do you really want to do. Because here's the thing. This is what Fantastic was talking about. But because another thing that a lot of dudes don't think about is if you get married late, then you got to, especially if you get married to a younger woman, then what could mess you up is, she waits you out, because men die before women anyway. And we've seen situations where that happens. So my thing is, people change. And this goes back to when people want to be on a 100%. Why are you getting married and stuff like that? You need to let them have the right to do what they want to do, and not like beat up on them about it. Put the stuff out there that's out there, but they're gonna have reasons why they do what they do, because dudes never know when they'll change my mind. This is why I always say I'm not like anti-marriage. I'm pro update the laws and pro. Now people say, well, why aren't you dealing with political action to do that? Because quite frankly, man, these white boys are a big reason why these laws are the way they fucking are. And if they're not gonna change shit because they're being cut the fuck out, there ain't nothing black men gonna do to override this stuff. So
wait a minute.
Hold on. So my thing is, a lot of why we deal with feminism to the level that we deal with it today as an American is due to them. And they don't like to acknowledge that shit. This is why people like Rolo could be married and they be red pilled. And when Donovan say that, they want to wild out. My point is, if people want to do what they want to do on an individual level, that's up to them. And I respect their right to do that. But if we're having a debate about what needs to be done at the macro level, a lot of times I just believe in, just charging it to the individual versus putting all his resources out, because there's other places those resources can go to. But this thing about like certain people need to be accountable what the whole manosphere is. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna let y'all talk, and then I'm probably gonna like bounce out. People can only be accountable to what's on their channels and the people they choose to deal with. If you look at what's on my channel and the people that I choose to have around me, if y'all notice, the nigga shit tends to not be around me. As far as the channels that I go to, the channels I participate in, yes, some of it you can kind of it walks up to the edge. But for the most part, the conversations I'm involved with tend to be productive conversations. The conversations that I try to put out there tends to be productive conversations. You ask Big J, what do people get from the manosphere? I can't speak to that, but I can say a lot of people, I've had people run interference and shut people down when they try to ask what people get from me. Because I'm talking about young dudes. I'm talking about dudes 19, 18, 17 that they've literally shut people down when they've tried to ambush me on panels. When they've been, I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but when they've been on panels and asked me that question, because and I've been humbled by that, because I didn't really humbled by that. So I can tell you that people get something out of what the fuck I'm saying. Now the whole manosphere is not perfect. I have my notes as to how to improve it as well. But, a lot of the kitchen sink shit about suicide and all of that, I feel like that's not fair to put it on the manosphere, but whatever. Anyway.
All right.
Edward. I know, though, you didn't say that right. I hope you didn't say that, because what you just said about, about 5 minutes ago, you still put white men above you because you just sit there and say,
white
well,
men
the
are a
white boys
numerical
ain't
majority.
changing. I
Black
don't
men are
care.
6% of the population. White men are like 30-something%. What are you
Well,
talking about? It's a
but that
numbers.
doesn't
It's
matter.
math.
See,
It's
like
mathematics.
it doesn't matter if black men are the minority. You still got to try. And what you just said gives ammunition
Appreciate it,
to
Nick.
the man haters. What you just said gives ammunition to the man haters, and you don't
I
see
don't
that.
care. The truth is the truth.
No,
Anybody, hold on.
you
So let me ask you a simple question. Are you telling me that black
know,
men have the
the
capability?
thing
I'm
is,
asking you a simple
you know,
question. Do you believe that black
you
men,
kind of reminds me.
do you believe that black men have the
You know,
ability to terraform? Which laws do you think black men can terraform?
there are a lot of things black men can terraform.
I said,
I
what
mean,
laws?
if we can go by the logic that black men built America, America was built on the backs of black men. Therefore, though, I believe with that same logic, black men can terraform America in
That
the
has
21st
nothing to
century.
do with power.
Wait a minute. Do power? Power goes with whatever whoever wills it. But you want to give away power because you are. See, let me tell you something, Edward.
Serious.
You kind of remind me of that movie Enter the Dragon. Remember
Big
that
J, you're
scene when
disappointing
Williams
me.
walked into old boy's office? He told old boy, "I'm too busy looking good." You are you too busy trying to look good when that Chinaman was telling old boy, sometimes in life you're going to have to lose. That was the point. You know, not every battle is destined for you to win. Edward, that's the point.
What are you talking
And
about?
you think though, because though you're going to lose, therefore though you don't want to try. And then though you still sitting here worrying about hair weave and bad makeup and big booty Brenda and her badass kids. And pointed them as, well, they're the ones though, man, that sick white supremacy on the black man. Well, you are a man, therefore though you should at least think out of your problems. If you're thinking black man, therefore you should think out of your problems. You think of the resolution out of your problems, or think around the problem.
You can't. Okay, as somebody that used to have procrastination problems, I can tell you there's thinking and there's action. Here's the thing: if you weigh two things, black men creating a social contract with their women, and therefore, even amongst the marriage laws that currently exist, building collective families by laying things, putting all the cards on the table, and revealing what really goes on in the black community, which is what the black manosphere does, which is called whining, bitching, and trauma bonding. Although I can acknowledge there's some of that goes on with some people. And then versus you sitting here like you're going to change laws that white men instituted as a mechanism to control the majority of other white men, because a lot of this feminism stuff took off after the Vietnam War. You know, a lot of this stuff really took off as far as how we see it today as America as a mechanism to control white men. Now, the Gynocracy we've dealt with, that's been there since we've gotten here, since the beginning. You know, then it's going to be easier to have a more internal conversation about the social contract. And quite frankly, Kevin Samuels is a true manifestation of that, because even though Sly and them doesn't like him, I get that, that's their thing. He still talks about marriage, and these conversations are manifested through him and a couple of others in real time as far as getting together. The idea of changing the 6% of the population, even if you get every black male adult to vote, is going to override even a state's laws. That's throwing good money after bad. That's throwing good energy after bad. That's just somebody trying to be right just to be right, so they can have a comfortable thought to sleep on. Me, I'd rather have the truth.
And your truth is based upon what?
Yeah, we're gonna end it there because I'm about to wrap this up. The brothers done started to drop off. God damn it, and it's getting late. I'm in the East Coast. Final word. Big J. Final words, man. Parting shots, brother. Parting shots.
I had no final word. I'm just laughing right now. I'm just laughing, man. I'm just grinning ear to ear right now. I'm laughing at Edward. But anyway, go ahead, Edward.
Hey man, it's the audience is the audience. So man, I just put the words out there. Whatever they say is what it is. You can grin in there if you want to. So do most people in the insane asylum. But hey, that's okay.
Yeah. When you coming up here for a challenge, brother Big J? When you coming up here, man?
All right, man.
I don't know. I have some things I need planned out for me personally, T.P.O.T. So anyway,
All right.
You have so nice night, T.P.O.T. I'll see you next time.
Take it easy. Peace. Yeah. Go ahead and wrap it up, y'all. But before we go, hold on. Before we go, X has to hit y'all with T.P.O.T's programming notes. Yeah, that's right. Man, my light got my green screen all fucked up, man. Change the direction. See, the shit was looking fuzzy, right? Yeah. Before we go, y'all know we got a few good shows coming for you good folks. Tomorrow, my man, Nagone, will be in the house, and we will be doing the third installment of the Reckoning series. Brother Nagone will be coming in here, and we'll be doing a little reckoning with Nagone and probably a few other brothers. Y'all know how we do these Reckoning series. It's usually 2 or 3 of my favorite YouTubers that come through. So make sure you're here tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You Negroes know. Then Friday. This had to be rescheduled, but Brother DC Glenn will be here. Those of you, I'm pretty sure I've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks. Those of you who are familiar with Brother DC Glenn, he was formerly known as DC the Brain Supreme from Tag Team. Yeah, that's right. Whoop, there it is. He will be here Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. And we'll be talking about old school hip hop. We'll be talking about his platinum hit song from back in the 90s, and we'll catch up with him and see what he's doing today. Y'all already know that he's on this here commercial right here, this Geico commercial, him and his partner. And we're going to see what he got going and what got him into this and all of that. So make sure you're here Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. DC Glenn, also known as DC the Brain Supreme, will be in the house. Then we end the week up Saturday night, throwdown debate. Brother Sir Anthony will be in the house, and he will be squaring off with Brother J.I. And y'all already know what the debate is going to be. If J.I. name is in it, aborting financially. Yeah, he squares off with Brother Sir Anthony. A first-time debater up here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. Brother Sir Anthony's been following me for a while, so I'm interested to get the brother up here. That's going to be 8 p.m. Saturday night, right here on the T.P.O.T YouTube page. You Negroes know. So let's do a recap. Saturday night, Brother Sir Anthony and Brother J.I. will be squaring off. Then Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, DC Glenn, also known as DC the Brain Supreme from Tag Team, will be here 9 p.m. Eastern time. And tomorrow night, the Reckoning series returns, and my brother Nagone will be in the house. So make sure you're here, all right? Because if you don't, you know what I'll do. But yeah, good shit tonight, folks. Good discussion. A lot of brothers came through tonight. Some of my favorite YouTubers, as I like to say, came through tonight. And I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate the super chats and all the cash apps. But most importantly, man, I appreciate you. All right. I appreciate your participation, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us, man, spending some time with us, man, and watching this stream. I appreciate all of that, man. I don't take you good folks lightly. I never have, and I never will. And that goes for the good folks that hang out there and you good folks who hang out in here. All right. All right. Special shout out to my man, brother SKC, brother BMT, brother Fantastic, Big J Triple X, brother Nick Taylor, brother Super Sly, brother Miri came through, and also the official timekeeper of the T.P.O.T debates, brother KIT, Keep It Techie. Make sure you go down there and check him out. And a special big shout out to brother Edward Anderson for coming through and taking on multiple challenges and getting into multiple discussions and keeping it tight and keeping it clean and keeping it respectful. It's always appreciated, and maybe we can get old Hurricane Edward back up in here sometime down the road. All right. All right. So with that, I will leave you good folks with 3 words. You know, like I always do. Open your mind.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, say, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost got $1 billion.
The problem with going
3 PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks through the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, punk. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up a paper 3 weeks over and over and see white families? You think it's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops shot my loved one 42 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops don't do that? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that anytime a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you do to drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, that we calling for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Sac Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Westinghouse. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
Happy. Daniel Lincoln 6. Go ahead. We have a suspect down 10-4. That's 10-4. The office code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your mind.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind.